Let's roll. The Twisted Tuesday has begun. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. From Costa Rica to California, Montreal to Minnesota, where Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Just won the baseball game in what was, without a doubt, no motherfucking debate, the biggest preseason home run ever motherfucking hitting. All right? Like, you can't make that shit up, and we'll tell you why in a couple of moments at time. So let's rage. It's been a pretty crazy night. You know, we do a radio show every day from 4 to 7. There's really not a lot of time in between, 7 to 10 leading into this show. Tonight, our horse ran tonight, Conflict Diamond, another fourth place finish tonight for Conflict Diamond, following a fourth place finish last week. So, good news is, we've gotten checks 2 weeks in a row. Bad news is, we didn't win the motherfucking race, but he's looking good. It was a rough ride tonight. I don't like calling out the drivers. I don't do it publicly. we don't do it publicly. We didn't get the best trip tonight. I'll put it that way. Yet, I'm not a professional driver, So it's easy for me to be watching on a computer and say, "Oh, fuck me, he should have done this or he should have done that." But the whole thing is the horse looks good. Back-to-back fourth place finishes. They're checks. They're not big checks, but they're checks. It didn't cost us to go to the track this week. We get a check, we move on. If the checks can add up, but we feel good about next week as well. The horse that won tonight, he's a pretty good horse, and he's not going to be in a race next week. Word in the barn is he's shutting it down. He's tired. So I don't like the ultimatums and if we don't win this one, and we're going to, it's disappointing and stuff. But next week is sort of, I wasn't fully all in that we were going to win today. I was hoping for top 3, and we really could have. There was a fucking stupid fucking horse, man. He kept getting in our fucking way. He's pissing me off. Fuck. He was like the fucking long shot. But whatever, man. That's up to our driver to fucking make sure it doesn't happen. That's the problem with fucking harness racing, though, man. Thoroughbreds can just sort of cut in and out and shit. Cam Stewart, partner in the horse, last week, he noticed we took the most fucking steps last week. We're not getting clean fucking drives, but we're going to have Mike Saftik, or I've been told we're going to have Mike Saftik driving the horse next week, which will make a difference. So, basically, I thought the race was at 9. So for the last hour, I've been stressed out. I'm still a little wired from this horse race. It's fucking stressful, man. Like, it's fucking stressful. I wonder, I'm like, how does Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft do it when they watch their teams play? It's pretty stressful, but you know how they do it? They're fucking 75-year-old fucking billionaires, and they've got like fucking hot 32-year-old strippers fucking blowing them under the desk all day. That's how they do it. So they're like, even if we don't win the game today and Ezekiel Elliott gets suspended, I'm still a billionaire. Right? So that's the way they look at it. Me, the way I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this horse has cost us a lot of fucking money, man. He's got to win a fucking race. And the race starts, and like your heart just goes up and down. I've gotten, you figure as a longtime gambler, like you'd be able to absorb it. But I can't lie. Like right now, I'm still a little bit wired from the race. Penn State is kicking the shit out of Mississippi State right now. We lose the Western Kentucky, but Penn State's rolling right now. 34-11, overwhelming Mississippi State. We've got some NBA basketball. Portland Trailblazers, 101-99 right now, leading the Pelicans. I like the Pelicans here. Close basketball game. We're on the Miami Heat. The Heat were destroying Cleveland. They're still up by 14. They're still up by 14. They're getting 3 points. We've got a pretty cool late night NBA basketball game coming up here tonight. There's actually 3 NBA games. 2 of them, which I really don't have any interest in. So Dallas and Sacramento, no interest. We're not betting it. We're not wasting our time with it. We had Dave Malinsky on the radio show today, and like Dave stated, he's like, what the fuck are you going to do with that game? Even Malinsky made a point of bringing up that game and saying, there's no edge in that game. I don't know, Dallas could win, they could lose. Sacramento could win, they could lose. It could be a fucking 84-82, worst NBA game ever. It could be a track meet. I see the total is 2 or 4.5. I don't even think they can score that many points, these 2 teams. But I'm not recommending it. The Pacers and the Warriors, nobody's playing for the Warriors. It's to the point with the Warriors where fucking Quinn Cook's their best player. People have paid big money for a Warrior-Pacer game tonight. Yeah, I hope you know you're paying to see Cook, Bell, and fucking Patrick McCaw play tonight. Andre Iguodala is the biggest name that'll be playing for the Warriors this evening. It's 7.5. Golden State getting 7.5. The Pacers do probably pace them. Yeah, I don't want to play it. Which leads us into the good game, the TV game. At least it better motherfucking be the TV game. I've always just sort of assumed wrongly on this. Oh, God, tell me no. All right, yeah, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. It's the Milwaukee Bucks and the Clippers. I was going to say, holy shit, don't tell me they're putting the Pacers on national television here. So, yeah, the Bucks and the Clippers. Now, these 2 teams just played last week. They played 3 games ago, and the Clippers beat the Bucks in Milwaukee. Normally, I would say, wow, what's a revenge spot? And these pros, you really think the Milwaukee Bucks lost sleep because, I'm sure they were upset they lost the game, but, revenge can be overused when it comes to professional sports. But in this instance, I don't think it is. The Milwaukee Bucks are a young, good basketball team. The Greek Freaks are really competitive fucking dude. They just lost to these guys a couple of games ago. At home in Milwaukee. You know that Milwaukee's going to be focused tonight. And quite frankly, I don't trust the Clippers here laying 3 points. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are the play, and I think the game's going to go over. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Now, the total was 226. It's up to 227 right now. I understand the move. I think it should be a track meet. Look, they scored 247 points when they just played a couple of days ago. But we're always talking about the points and stuff. Will it really be a close game, or are we better off just taking? This is the debate. Do you take 3 do you take 3 with the Bucks, or you just say fuck it and give me the plus 130 on the money line? This is where I say fuck it. Just give me the plus 130 on the money line. We'll go Milwaukee Bucks plus 130 money line, and we'll go over the 227 points. I like it better at 226, but whatever. It is what it is. And I'll tell you, I'll be in a lot better mood if the fucking Pelicans can win this game right now. $105 to lose. Son of a bitch. Fuck. I got the Pelicans plus 1, and they're about to lose by 2 or 3 here. Hate laying points. Lay points with the Raptors. Raptors, of course, win by 4. All right, so yeah, we're on the Milwaukee Bucks on the money line, and we're taking the over. Now, Major League Baseball season is rapidly approaching, and I said off the top of the program, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. If you're unaware, you remember Vladimir Guerrero, the great right fielder with the Expos and the Angels, but we all really remember him as a Texas Ranger the most. So yeah, Vladimir Guerrero, he's got a kid who actually fucking I knew. Now, I'm not saying this kid knows who the fuck I am now, but I was the post-game show host in the Vladimir Guerrero heyday. And Guerrero liked me. Fuck, he didn't really talk to too many people. Like, he didn't really talk English unless you were a hot chick. But so, I was in the clubhouse every day. I was around Guerrero a lot and stuff. And his kid was always there. Always there. There's a picture with him with the Expos and stuff. Vlad Jr. He's a little pudgy fucking fat kid. And he used to take batting practice and shit. Like, the bat was bigger than he was and stuff. And it's funny because nobody was allowed kids in the clubhouse and stuff. No players' kids are ever allowed in the clubhouse, but his was. He's Vladimir Guerrero, so no one was going to say shit to him. So Vlad Jr. grew up with a baseball bat in his motherfucking hand. And he grew up at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. So for him to return to Montreal as a fucking prospect with the Toronto Blue Jays and hit a fucking home run to win the baseball game on the same field that he used to take batting practice on as a youngster. Pretty crazy stuff. And, the Expos might be gone, but it's nice in Montreal for the legacy of baseball in Montreal. Vladimir Guerrero, this kid was born there, I believe. I think he was born there. I can't confirm that, though. I think he was. The one thing about Guerrero, I will say, now I don't know if it's the mother, though. But, man, Vladimir Guerrero liked me. And I told you guys, he only did one fucking one-on-one interview in 7 years. And he did it with me, all right? He didn't talk to fucking the media, but he talked to me. But it was nuts, man. His girlfriend was smoking hot. Fuck this fucking chicken. She was super nice to me all the time. She'd always talk to me in the hall, man, and shit. And once, I saw Guerrero looking at me. I was like, man, he's fucking. This chick's got to stop talking to me. Fuck, like, I always remember that. But I don't think that was the mother of this kid. Fuck, I think that was just some smoking hot Dominican chick that he flew up. But nevertheless. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the real motherfucking deal. Just put him on the Blue Jays right now. We're talking baseball. Looks like we're the Seattle Mariner fan. Yeah. Or either that or it's like we have like the Seattle Mariner pitching coach. Looks like we have like the coach joining us right now.
That's right.
But, all kidding aside, Mark Lathrop steps up and joins us as if you read sportsbookreview.com on a daily basis, like I know many of you do. Like you read Dave Malinsky's column, you've seen Mark's Major League Baseball future division previews and future talk. We've enjoyed the work. We've been reading them. And we fired off Mark an invite to the program, and he's been gracious enough to join us on the program. Thanks for joining us, Mark. How you doing, man?
Hey, thanks for having me, Gabe. Good to be here. I haven't seen you since we were in Costa Rica together.
Yeah, I'll apologize for anything I might have done. I don't remember. But all kidding aside, you're in a lot of trouble, dude. Johnny Manziel was staying like two doors down from me in a hotel. And I was stumbling in the hallway one night, and Johnny Manziel asked me if I was all right. And I realized in the morning I got real fucking life problems when Johnny Manziel's in Costa Rica. He's asking if I'm all right.
Right. Yeah, I flew down some of my wine. I think I told everybody down there I own a winery and make wine. And I brought some to the Grand Casino, and I hand some to Johnny, and he liked it. And then somebody told me when I got home, oh, hey, Johnny's trying to be dry. And I just force-fed him my wine. And he was polite enough to drink it and tell me he liked it. But I probably got him off the wagon for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's not good. See, if I'm a team that's, thinking about signing him right now, I'm like, man, he broke that easily. Some dude offered him wine, and he took it just like that.
He's like, this is pretty good,
No, your wine. So
right.
Tell us about the winery, actually. Can people order it online from you? Do you deliver? Or is there laws about like interstate alcohol and stuff? I know sometimes that shit gets crazy.
Yeah, you can DM me. There's a few states I can ship to directly, but some states are no-go just because of their state laws, like Texas, New York are bad. But, if you're in California, Oregon, Idaho, Western U.S. is pretty clear. We don't have an online store or anything, but you DM me, I can hook you up.
I've been drinking too much recently. I'm almost getting queasy just watching you enjoy the wine. But, we were in Vegas for the first round of the tournament, and I was going to take it easy. I was still recovering from Vegas, but Jimmy the Bag came to Toronto. A guy comes all the way from Costa Rica. How can I not go out? So we went to watch that Michigan game the other night. I'm a Michigan fan. Now I'm recovering from that. But the baseball season is upon us, and it's unique. I just tweeted out, Mark, right now that you'll never see a crowd celebrate or a team celebrate or a player celebrate a preseason home run as much as you'll just see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did in Montreal. It's amazing. I mean, this kid grew up in fucking Montreal with Vladimir Guerrero when he was on the Expos. He's a little kid taking BP. He's on the Toronto Blue Jays now. Well, he's trying to make the Blue Jays. And he's in Montreal. They're playing an exhibition game series. And the motherfucker goes deep to win the game, man. It's like baseball season starting with a Cinderella story right out of the gate.
Now, does Junior wear gloves like his dad, or not wear gloves?
No, you know what? I think he does wear gloves, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I saw that happen behind me on TV, and I saw the guys in the chat room talking about it. And
on the plus side, though, on the plus side, can you guys confirm, actually, does he wear gloves? I can check the video right now. But on the plus side, unlike his father, he doesn't swing at one hoppers.
Right.
Or,
right. He would.
Yeah, that's right. He took the gloves off when he got to the fuck off, Google Hangouts. You going to do this to us right now already out of the gate? Fucking Google Hangouts, man. All right. We're going audio. I got no choice. You'll be all right, Mark. You should be all right. I don't know, actually. We'll see what happens when you talk. But the audio will be fine either way. But Google Hangouts, for some reason, gets choppy for a couple of minutes tonight. But so let's start off with some future talk.
Yeah.
And the Toronto Blue Jays, a team that I actually think, and I'm in Toronto right now, so I get a lot of Toronto coverage and shit, even though I don't pay that much attention to it. But I don't think they're going to win 82 games. And I'm seeing 81.5 for their season win total this year. What's your take on the Toronto Blue Jays?
So if for SBR, I put together a little model. It's my 4th year of putting together a model. I have actually them as the slightest overlean, and I would not bet it. Only reason being because in this division, the Yankees and Red Sox are picked to be above them. And so you're really betting on the third place team to have a 500 record. And that's not a bet that I want to make.
No, I know, and especially in that division against the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. So as far as wins, futures win losses for the season, I'm never really interested in the highest numbers unless I'm going to go under the number.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Blue Jays, the Red Sox and the Yankees fall into that category. But what do you make of the division? The Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are the third choice, as you stated, in the plus 600 range, and then you've got the Yankees at plus 110, Red Sox at plus 180. Do you think there's any value with the Red Sox to win that division?
I really don't. It's the Yankees to lose, and the reason I say that is because of the Yankees bullpen is projected to be the best in the majors this year, and bullpens, if they kind of get overlooked, in my opinion, and of innings pitched last year, is 35% was your bullpen. And then in the playoffs, 44% was your bullpen innings. So, if you make it in, say even Boston makes it to the playoffs, the Yankees in a 7-game series can shorten their starting rotations, their starts, and come at you with the best bullpen in baseball. And that's basically why they're going to be the strongest team in that division this year, other than, Giancarlo Stanton hitting 65 home runs. Yeah, they're able to turn games into 6-inning baseball games.
Mm-hmm. People, I'm on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network as well, so I talk to a lot of Facebook, we talk to baseball nerds, geek-type guys, and they always sort of, I don't know about the Yankees. I don't know about the Yankees pitching, that there's a lot of ifs along the way. Severino's solid. CC Sabathia, the guy's gotten a second wind over the last couple of years. I got to give him credit for that. You can't deny that. So CC Sabathia's been pretty good. Tanaka's a big key. Sonny Gray wasn't great in Yankee Stadium, and I am a Sonny Gray fan, but a little bit their pitching doesn't overwhelm me. I don't think their pitching is really going to scare too many people, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if their starting pitching may overperform just because they only have to pitch 6 innings a game. And the biggest call actually for the AL East was my under call, which was the Rays, because they are by and far going to be the worst team in that division, even though they're halfway decent, but Baltimore picked up Alex Cobb, so they're going to jump over them in my projections. And so you're looking at the 5th place team in the AL East with 2 monsters in Boston and New York, going to beat them up for 19 games apiece. And they're sitting at, let me look at Tampa. They are at 77.5 games. That's a pretty high bar to clear for a 5th place team in a strong division. So as far as AL East value, I would go under for that win total for Tampa Bay.
Under Tampa Bay, says Mark.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I read your thoughts on the Milwaukee Brewers, who they were a trendy team last year down the stretch. They played well. They got to 86 wins.
Yep.
Then this year they bring in Lorenzo Cain. They bring in Christian Yelich. They tried to get Yu Darvish. They were in talks with the Arrieta. It seems like Milwaukee does want to spend money. And it seems like Milwaukee does want to win. And, they were a good team last year. They get to 86. Their win total's at 84.5. But you like the under, don't you? So are you concerned about the Brewers pitching? And what is it about the Brewers you don't think they can get there?
Well, the loss of Jimmy Nelson is huge for the Brewers. He was massive for them. If in WAR terms, he had 4.9 WAR. So he was their most important pitcher, and he's likely lost until August or September. You got Anderson, Davies, but after that, you've got your 3, 4, 5 guys that are just above average, and they're going to be going up against, again, you have the unbalanced schedule to think about, and so these divisional matchups are really important. So I view the Cardinals and the Cubs as kind of the cream of the crop of that division. I don't think I get many arguments with that, but the 3rd through 5th starters in Milwaukee, if they line up, they're going to lose that series. So that's why I am under for them. They're losing series between the top 2 teams in their division. If they go 500 in their division, well, 500 is not going to cut it 84.5 games for them. So, Jimmy Nelson's pretty much the deal killer for them, losing him over the offseason. Although I do like that Yelich pickup, and this just might not be their year. And next year with some healthy pitching, they could surprise.
A trendy team right now, I've noticed in the media over the last couple of days, has been the Philadelphia Phillies. And, speaking of Jake Arrieta, so Arrieta signs a 3-year, $75 million deal with the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies win total has been going up because of the trendiness. Let me get the updated win total here. I think it was up to 76.5. And it was in the 74.5, 75.5 range when Vegas or Reno, whoever the hell, put it out there first. But
right.
Yeah, let's see. That's the thing. Those numbers, they always move so fast. And then the offshore books copy like a week later.
So what I'm looking at is a Bovada number at 75.5, and they've just upped the juice to minus 260, which makes that a complete, no bet.
That's ridiculous. See, I'm seeing a 76.5 minus 120 somewhere else right now. 76.5 minus 120. So you look at the Phillies. They signed Carlos Santana. The Hoskins kid hit 18 home runs in limited at bats last year. Their offense is going to be able to put some runs up on the board. They play in an inferior division. Their pitching's not great, but I don't think it's terrible either. What do you make of the hype on the Philadelphia Phillies? Because I'm sort of leaning towards buying in. And we talk about the division they play in. The Mets are a shit show. You can never trust that any of their pitchers are going to stay healthy. And the Florida Marlins might be the worst team ever this year. So, Philadelphia will have some opportunities to win some baseball games.
Yeah, I'm going to completely agree with you on Miami. I do my projections, and it's kind of based on WAR and people being above, average. And they're fielding a team that's AAA, and I don't think anybody's been that bad before, at the onset of the season. So them, and the Braves are going to get beat up on. So if the Phillies, have that chance to win a season series against the Marlins, which they should do, and the Braves, which they should do, that's 38 games of their season. So they go, 28 or, let's even cut it before then,
14 or something. Yeah. Even
right. Then they're, 14 games over 500 just with those teams, 2 teams alone. Then that's definitely has some value there. And I had them as an overcall in my model by just 5 games, which, seems like a lot, but when you talk of variability with a model, it's not. But those 2 additions really kind of put them over the top. If you can get a good number, 66.5, if you can get that without the juice, like Bovada's playing on there, I would not be opposed to that move.
Let's see if my camera is back yet. You're fine. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on with me.
It's that Canadian internet.
Yeah, let's see if I'm still choppy. I don't know. I have good internet, but it looks like I'm back. I don't know. We get ambushed for a couple of minutes because they fucking up the top of the show the last few nights. But the Marlins. So normally, Mark, I'm one of these guys when it comes to Major League Baseball futures that likes to look at the team that everybody says this team's going to be the worst fucking team ever, and look how low the total is. And I like to buy it over because the old adage, hey, even the best team can win 30% of the time. Get some win there, right?
So I got a team for you that's not.
Sorry, Mark, but I was going to say the Marlins. I don't think they win 66 games. Their win total is 65.5. They could be hard pressed to actually get there, to get to 66. It's a lot of wins, as you stated. They're fielding a AAA team, and it's like a fucking carcass, man. Jeter seems, determined to just pick it clean, and he'll let. They could fucking clear more salary down the road. If they get good, he'll probably try to, pull the rug under again. I don't know if they can win 66 games, actually. There's no way in hell I would bet over 65.5. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I have them, winning 66 in my model, but that's best case scenario if there's no injuries or anything. So they'd be an undercall. That's just rough. One team that I'm looking at that is kind of a basement team that is a little underrated is the Padres. They added Eric Hosmer. They already had Will Myers. And I think that their floor is much higher than 69.5 games, which is sitting at Bovada. They've done the thing again where that has gone betting up. It's gotten betting up enough where it's at minus 215. But if you can find that at 70.5, I think the Padres can find a way to win more than 70 games. They got some interesting young arms, too, in their starting rotation, but I think their offense is just good enough. We've got a few teams on the mend. The Giants, dealing with the injury. Dodgers dealing with some injuries to start the season where they could, get a couple wins under and then just kind of cruise a couple games under 500. For the rest of the season, and that was one of my strongest calls for an over with one of the teams that is projected to have the worst record in the league.
Yeah, it's a fair number too. I'm seeing right now 71.5 for San Diego, and you mentioned it. So San Francisco wants to get better. They didn't like sucking last year. They've already got pitching issues coming into the season right out of the gate already. What do you think about Colorado? So does this open up the door for Colorado at 80.5? I know people in Denver are pretty high on the Rockies coming in to the year.
Yeah, Colorado was a big miss for me last year. It was a huge undercall, and they just blew past it. This year, it's still sitting as an undercall, but it's so close. And Charlie Blackmon was pretty much the player that blew it for the undercall last year, and I don't know if he can repeat that again. That's just came out of nowhere. They've got Arenado, which is one of my guys for the RBI, most RBIs next year. That article will come out tomorrow on SBR, but Their starting pitching is pretty good. Their bullpen's pretty good. I would not be surprised if they, were above, 82 games next year.
All right, so we talked about the Milwaukee Brewers, and you're going under the 84.5 with the Milwaukee Brewers, but we're looking for value, and you're looking for value in this division, the Pittsburgh Pirates. So McCutcheon's now on the San Francisco Giants. The Pittsburgh Pirates are sort of an afterthought right now. What are your thoughts on the Pirates? I know you're leaning to the over with Pittsburgh, but what are your thoughts on this team right now? Tell us why you like the Pirates.
Well, I do like the Pirates. The reason for that is I think there's a little bit of misperception with them getting fleeced in that Garrett Cole trade. They got back Joe Musgrove, and he's a great pitcher. But the problem is he was on the Astros, and the 6th or 7th pitcher on the Astros is better than most. So they're just stacked. So when they're trading from strength, that doesn't mean that that National League team and a weak division is all of a sudden screwed. It just means, they got some good pieces back for their starting rotation and their bullpen. And so I actually say, the Pirates are projected to have one of the strongest rotations in the National League this year. And with that weak division, or the weak couple teams in their division, I don't see a problem them beating them up and exceeding 73 games. No problem.
A team in the division as well, the St. Louis Cardinals, who just played Toronto Blue Jays this evening in Montreal. They improved their bullpen big time. The Cardinals are, they're such a great organization. At least they were. They're a little bit tight at times, but in the past, they've done a great job of letting guys go and not paying and replacing them. I think their farm system's taken a little bit of a hit over the last couple of years since the dude went to Houston. But they have a pretty solid roster right now. Bullpen gets better. You like the Cardinals over 85.5 wins, and I'm having a hard time disagreeing with this one.
Well, the thing about the Cardinals is they went 34-42 in their own division last year and still won 83 games. So if they just can go 500 in their division, which doesn't seem like a stretch with, their additions and people getting healthy, they're going to fly over their win total this year. If you're looking at value with a division, maybe a division bet, plus 480 is sitting at 5 dimes for the Cardinals. That's not a bad wager in my opinion.
Yeah, everyone's obviously the public is all in on the Chicago Cubs. You can't really play the Cubs over, but what's your take on the Cubs? Do you look to bet against the Cubs because they're such a public team and the number is going to be so big?
I actually still have the Cubs as an over team in my model. And my model's been right more often than not. So I'm not going to tell people not to back that. They're sitting at projected win of 98 and their over under was 94.5, I think. And you can't take away the effect of the poor competition in their division.
Now, one thing with the Chicago Cubs, too, and I'm a big proponent of, like, the market watch. And, once a week, twice a week, we check in on the unit watch. And it's amazing how some teams can have the same record, Mark, but their profitability margins are completely way, way different.
Right.
And the Chicago Cubs were a good example of that last year. They were fucking money burners. It was amazing. Like, I remember at times, I'm like, look, man, they're 12 games over 500, but they're like plus, they're like plus 100 units and minus 300 units because they're so heavily favored all the time. That's the fascinating and intricacies of betting on baseball, in which you can make money betting against the best teams just because they are so heavily favored, and they're only going to win 66% of the time.
Right. I mean, they've got a great lineup. I do like Brandon Morrow going in the closer's spot. But, starters 4 and 5, Hendricks, Chatwood for the Cubs are probably going to be overvalued in their game. So that's spots where you can look at some money line wagers against the Cubs, maybe in some road spots or, just some weird travel spots or going against a tougher team that's coming off a loss, where you can pick up some value there. I mean, they definitely weren't the Dodgers winning run line every day.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I believe the Dodgers last year were the first team ever, guys, to win 15 games in a row and lose at least 15 games in a row in the same season. That's how fucking crazy that was last year, man. It's like, baseball, man, is streaky sport. So the Texas Rangers, you're right about the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers, the Rangers had a nice little run. They were spending money on pitching. That pitching got old. And it looks like their time in the sun is done. The Houston Astros, obviously the defending World Series champions. And a lot of buzz about the Angels coming into this year. Seattle always perplexes me. I always buy into Seattle. And Seattle are just fucking Seattle, man. They just are. They're like the St. Louis Blues of fucking of Major League Baseball. So you got Oakland and Seattle in there. You got Texas Rangers. You like the under 77.5 wins for the Texas Rangers?
Absolutely, because I think they're going to be the last place team in the division by far. And if you go back and you say, okay, last place division or last place team in this division, just go back a few years and see how many games that team won. Last year was a little bit anomaly because Oakland won 75 games somehow in the West with Houston hanging around. But that's still under Texas's 77.5. So last place team, 5 games under 400 or 500 doesn't make sense to me. They're just going to get murdered. After Cole Hamels, I don't see any above average pitcher in their starting rotation. And, they may start out a little hot, but once it really gets hot down there in Texas, start betting overs because they're just going to get hammered.
Yeah, and overs could really be a theme, as you mentioned, especially when it gets hot. But we've seen on a yearly basis, and I like to look it up, and maybe somebody can tell us. I know Chris Edge has been on top of it. And how many years in a row that Major League Baseball have set run scoring records. But, the games keep getting higher and higher. We can debate why it is. A lot of people are convinced that the balls are just wound slightly a little bit tighter. But I mean, you look at the American League East and all that power on these teams, and they're all hitters parks. Fenway, Yankee, Rogers Center in Toronto where there's a dome, and that's a big hitters park right there with a short fence and a low fence. Man, it really does seem it's hard to bet an under nowadays if you're playing MLB totals. It really is.
Yeah, I agree. And it's easy to spot those teams that are going to be, your over candidates. The problem is the market eventually adjusts. It's just if it's going to adjust enough. I'll be really interested to see how that humidor, if they even put it in Arizona, will affect that team because that was over Central last year, and it was you'd have 16 to 20 run games over and over again. Well, they had Fernando Rodney on their team. Diamondbacks did. So I was concentrating on first 5 innings for that team, but now he's on Minnesota, so I don't have to worry about that with Arizona. So
Major League Baseball, I'm seeing some numbers here for the opening games. Cubs are actually in Miami. Miami is big underdogs, obviously. Mets host the Cardinals. Got a total of 7 there. Do you have any approach? I talk to some people that bet on baseball, and they tell me they like to wait like a month into the season before they really start. They sort of analyze the first month, build some data, see the pitchers. They want to see people go through the rotation a couple of times. Or do you jump right in? Will you have action like on Thursday afternoon? Or at least maybe recreational action, but like will you bet like serious action, the first weekend of the baseball season?
I don't mind doing it if the matchups are right, and I concentrate on the starting pitching matchups. To be honest, it's not until a couple months in until I will start looking at bullpen rest and usage, that kind of thing, and weather. The one thing is the weather does affect these April games quite a bit, just because the ball is heavy. Yeah. And you just need to pay attention. If you're not paying attention to the weather, there's a couple links I put out an SBR article, and one of them was wind direction versus park orientation. It's just so easy just to take a glance, see if a wind's blowing in or out. Those are edges that you have in April. You don't need to wait. So, I mean, if there's an edge, there's an edge, and I don't wait. You know, if you see one, you just jump on it.
Now, one thing is we noticed, though, you look at all the teams with the big expectations and the big name teams, they're big favorites coming right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's pretty risky because you know some people are going to do it. They're going to go, oh, yeah, I'll lay the fucking big price on the Cubs here. I'm going to lay the big price on the Dodgers. And, you know, listen, I'm a diehard Dodger fan. And even though Clayton Kershaw's on the hill, I'm not really in a hurry to lay minus 280 in the opener, even though Kershaw's like fucking 46-9 or something like that in his last 55 starts, or the Dodgers are. And that's why they put these numbers so high. But you know, my warning to people is be very careful, man, coming out of the gate, laying a big price in these opening games.
Right. You could have Cubs with, okay, so Darvish is like, I think third in their rotation. Well, also their backup catcher could be in, you know, so that's a situation to look for where you're going to get some extra value. You got a couple teams, you know, the teams are expected to do well. They win their first two games, that third game, that getaway game right at the beginning of the season. They could lay an egg. Doesn't matter.
It's funny. I'm anti-Jays, but I'm seeing their plus 130. It's calling my name right now, Mark, against the Yankees. Thursday afternoon. Jay Happ against Severino. Thursday afternoon. The Blue Jays plus 130. Like, that's a classic example. Like, I know even people in Toronto, they're going to bet on the Yankees. And the Yankees will fuck the Jays up first game. And I don't know. You know, they actually might not. Angels are opening up in Oakland. You know, last year, the Angels, when Mike Trout got hurt, you know, you figure, holy crap, this is really going to get ugly. But, you know, they dug down deep. They went on a run, and they showed that they were more than just Mike Trout. There is some excitement around this Angels team coming into the year. What do you think about the Angels?
Well, as a Mariner fan, you know, I'm pretty disappointed we didn't get Ohtani to, you know, swoon over. But then, you know, I was just hearing that he might not even break with the club because he's struggling so much. I think, you know, it's going to be tough to be that two-way player. It's tough to be Bo Jackson, who I have all his baseball cards and football cards because he was the best. But
I'll agree with you on that one. I'm going with that. Bo was great. Yeah, the thing with Ohtani is this isn't the Japanese league, right? I mean, focus on one thing. To me as well, it was a little bit ambitious trying to crack Major League Baseball. And Dave Malinsky had a good point when we were talking about Ohtani a couple of weeks ago, and he said, you know, big league pitchers, if he's hitting and stuff and they know he's going to be pitching in a day or two, they're going to, like, hit him. You know, they're going to hit him. They're going to make him get in the dirt. They're going to, when he's on first base, they're going to throw to the bag all the time. They're going to run him into the ground. They're going to do all these little things that they didn't do to him in a Japanese league too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the one thing about the Angels that kind of concern me, if you're going to back them, is that their rotation. If you look at the projected innings pitched, they're projecting that they're part-time pitchers. They're projecting the injuries in there. You know, Ohtani is only projected to do 148 innings. He's not going to be a horse. Skaggs, 130 innings. Shoemaker, 129 innings. Ramirez, 122 innings. So you're going to have the 6th through 8th guys in the organization pitching meaningful baseball at some point in the season. And that's pretty tough to back. I actually see them as they were a slight overcall in my model, but it wasn't because of their pitching. It was because of their offense, and it was almost all because of Mike Trout, who's, you know, projected, you know, he's the best player in baseball by far, and that's not even discussed at this point.
All right, so what about your Seattle Mariners? Win total,
oh boy.
I'm seeing 81.5 right now.
They were an undercall in my model again. They cashed last year, and as a fan, I would always bet the under and be pleasantly surprised if they went over it.
You know what? I'm going to be moving to Vancouver. I've never been to Safeco before, so I might eventually get out there and take in a Seattle Mariner game.
It's a great ballpark. I'll be there in May. You know, for my birthday, I got front row tickets, so right field. So, you know, crossing my fingers that Ichiro will start, maybe his last game or something, even though he sucks. But
nice. So
he was good.
Oh, Hall of Famer, yeah, growing to the greatest ever. Who are they playing against when you go?
I believe they're playing the Twins.
It's all right.
So I'll see Rodney, blow a save.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I kick myself. I'm weird. I used to go to a lot of baseball. I used to cover baseball, but I used to go to a lot of baseball games even as a fan too. And I lived like a 15-minute walk from where the Blue Jays play. And I went to 2 games last year, I think, all year. I'm not a Blue Jay fan though. And I'm not a fan of the fucking ownership that owns them. So, and they just gouge you, man. It's like fucking $18 for a beer and stuff. So I have a bad experience, but I've heard good things about Seattle's ballpark and the experience there. It's crazy when the Blue Jays play there, man. You see, it's like Blue Jay. There's thousands of Blue Jay, like tens of thousands of Blue Jay fans there.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing, actually. But Seattle's a good craft brew, town. So you may pay $9-10 for a beer, but it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and, they have good fish and chips and shit. If I'm going to get ripped off, at least it's good. You know what I mean?
Right. They can not do all the crickets and stuff that they were doing last year. I can pass on that. Yeah,
I was going to bring that up. Seattle, I was going to ask about that. I'd say Seattle and San Francisco, pretty much the big hipster food markets, right? Like Seattle, I know you got the crickets and fucking sushi. Like you want a hot dog and popcorn. The guy's like sushi stand,
Right.
The Blue Jays aren't bad actually. They have a lot of good food options there. It's just everything's like $30, which is it's absolutely preposterous. All right, so if we're playing some Major League Baseball futures before we get you out of here, Mark, what do you think happens? Who are some teams are you going to think could be left standing this year? Do you have any sleepers? To go on a playoff run, World Series champions? Who should we keep an eye on?
Well, I saw a couple wagers that kind of caught my eye when I was looking at stuff before I came on. One was best regular season record at 5 dimes, and I saw Houston at plus 350, and it's like, okay, so Houston's, going to be over. They've got the best, biggest over. They've got the best team constructed in the world since time began, and they're plus 350. That seems like a good way to get some extra value payback if you're really a buyer of the Astros. If they win every series against, say, the Rangers and Oakland, and go a couple games over 500 against everybody else, they're going to win like 108 games. That's the bottom line there. So that'd be one I'd be looking at. And then I do like, because I'm a little bit of a pessimist, I do like the under calls a little more than the over calls. And Rangers being last place in the West, so taking the under there. And then the other under was, let's see, the Brewers, right?
Oh, yeah. Picking on the Brewers.
Yeah, just because St. Louis and the Cubs are so strong, you're betting on the third place team to have over 84 wins, and just isn't it isn't very often that 3 teams are in the playoff race in the same division. It happens, but it's rare.
All right, here's a couple of Major League Baseball special props that I found here. Number of hitters to hit 40 or more home runs this year, over under 4.5. Now it's minus 175 to the over, but I mean, fuck, the New York Yankees might have 3 guys with 40 home runs this year alone. Like, number of hitters across Major League Baseball to have 40 or more home runs this year, over under 4.5. I like the over 4.5 here.
Oh, let me consult the spreadsheet, sir. I would take the under on that.
You would, eh? So I'm just going off. Let me see off the top of my head. Stanton and Judge. You think they both hit over 40 home runs?
No.
You don't think so, huh?
No. Stanton for sure. Judge, I think Judge he's gonna have a sophomore slump of some sort. Now his sophomore slump's not gonna be like everybody else's. It's gonna be, I only had 100 RBI and 35 home runs. And
yeah.
But but I don't think he gets to 40. And even if he does, who are the other guys? So, we've got maybe Trout, but how many times has he done
Mike
that before?
Trout, Bryce Harper.
Arenado, but he's not really, he's more of a doubles guy.
Goldschmidt.
He could do it. He could do it. He's projected to hit 30.
I think Goldschmidt could, there's a possibility. Let me see here. I'm looking for,
So let me tell you, in the projection model that I use to build my futures models, there's only one player that is projected to hit over 40, and that's Stanton.
Really?
He's projected to hit 53. Next is Arenado and Trout at 38. Machado and Rizzo are next at 37 and 33, and then it just drops off. So you've got, for somebody to over exceed their projection, you got to have more than one person kind of be an outlier for really that fifth person, right? Because you got to have 5.
And you're getting plus money if you like it. Plus over under 4.5, plus 140.
And what book is that on?
That's Bet365.
All right, I might have to open an account at Bet365.
No, sorry. Under regular season specials. Under 4.5 is plus 140. Over 4.5 is minus 175. Number of pitchers to win 20 or more games. Over 1.5 is minus 140. Under 1.5 is plus 100, Mark.
I think there's probably going to be 2. I don't know who it is yet, but let me take a look.
Yeah, I'm more pessimistic about this one. Only because it's so specialized now with bullpens. Clayton Kershaw, I think he's only won more than 17 games twice in his career, actually, as good as he is. Is Chris Sale going to win 21 games this year? I don't know. He hit the wall late last year. Maybe they want to save his arm a bit. But the thing is, there's always, this, Mark, there's always these motherfucking pitchers that come out of nowhere, right?
Right.
Some guy that's been in the league 6-7 years that just comes into his own. Look at the year Jay Happ had a couple of years ago. Some guy that just comes into his own, and he's a surprise 20. Remember, like R.A. Dickey out of the blue. Some surprise guy or two, but I tend to hesitate. I know off the top of my head, Kershaw's win total was 17.5. Chris Sale's win total, I think, was 16.5. Kluber was in the same range. So I don't know, man. I mean, I would lean towards the under. This is just off the top of my head. I'm not crunching any numbers here, though.
Yeah, I brought up my spreadsheet, and the top number is 16. Now, of course, that's all, it all goes back to a median or some kind of average, right? So it doesn't take into account somebody overperforming.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't take into account somebody pitching in a bad division. So Kluber, I think, has a chance to get there just because he's going to be pitching against weak teams. But Kershaw, no. I mean, you may be on the team that's going to win the division, but you're still going to pitch against San Francisco, Arizona, and Colorado, and then Arizona and Colorado on the road sometimes. Chris Sale's, AL East is pretty good hitting, so that's tough. Nationals guys, so Scherzer and Strasburg, maybe one of those guys.
Yeah. Scherzer's not getting any younger.
No.
Strasburg always gets hurt, but you're right. Listen, I'm high on the Nationals this year. Well, whatever. Fucking will they win in the playoffs? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
All right. Will any pitcher record 50 or more saves? This one they're shading to the no at minus 125. No. Yes, minus 115.
So I just wrote this up for SBR, and I had Jepsen, being the guy who had the most saves on the season, and part of that is just because of. You got to think of what's going to set you up, right? You can't have a roster where you have a bunch of young pitchers who can pitch complete games, and that's rare anyway. But he's projected to get 38 saves, so for 50, that's 12 more. I would shade no as well.
Yeah. That's the reason why they're shading it no to minus 125.
I mean, all of the pitchers, all relief pitchers in any projection model are they're projected to only even pitch in 65 games.
Yeah.
So you're gonna save 50 out of 65. That's kind of ridiculous.
All right. So crunching the numbers with Mark, giving us some great insight here. Will any pitcher have 16 or more strike out 16 or more batters in a game? It's kind of more of a random one here. Will any pitcher have 16 or more strikeouts in a baseball game this year?
No clue.
Yes.
Yeah, don't touch that one. I have no idea.
Like, you're betting a prop at 140, you got to wait all year for. It's not the best value, this one.
Although you do get, 344 chances.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How many games are there in a year, right?
Yeah.
Maybe tonight's the night. Like, I can just see it, though, man. I'm the type of guy to be sitting here every night. We'll be bitching about it. Guys, he's at 14. Fuck, they're in the 8th inning. They're going to take him out right now. We bet some NBA props a couple of weeks ago on the show, all of us, and guys in the chat. It was torture, dude. We had Tobias Harris over 21.5 points. The motherfucker was at 21 with 9 minutes left, and he didn't play. And we had Vucevic of Orlando over 17.5. He was at 17 with like 7 minutes left. And for the love of God, he just wouldn't shoot again. Yeah, it was frustrating. But, all right, will any team win 100 or more games? It's shaded pretty heavy, though. Minus 275 to the yes. Plus 200, no. Will any team win 100 games this year?
That's a yes.
See, we don't get like the football prop. Like, will anyone go undefeated? Like, there should be one. Like, how many games? I guess the Marlins, you can bet the over-under.
Right. I mean, there's been arguments that Houston could break the season win record this year. I mean, so when you're talking about that, them winning 100 games is almost a disappointment.
Now, Bet Online, all right, and Bet Online is back up and running, guys. So Bet Online had some great fun props up. It was Yankee-related props, actually, as far as strikeouts. Let me see if I can find them here again. MLB season props. Here we go. They've got a bunch of make the playoff props. MLB player futures.
Yeah, the Yankees are interesting. And Stanton, I think, is a lock for that most home runs prop. But you got to stay away from him for the RBI prop because he is slotted to be cleaned up behind Judge. So it's how many solo home runs is Stanton going to hit this year? It's going to be a lot.
I think I got to get off my ass and go see the Yankees and the Jays this weekend. It's one of these deals. If I don't go now, I'll never go. But no, I'm not even going to be here. What am I saying? I forget where the hell I'm going to be all the time. I'm not even going to be here. Yeah, man. Yeah, Bet Online's got 1 million baseball props up, guys. Like over under, here it is, Stanton, over under 42.5 home runs. So yeah, here they got the home run one. So Judge 34.5. So yeah, you're right. So I said, so it's 4.5 props. You're right. Looking at the projections, they don't even have anyone fucking close to 40 besides Stanton, 42.5. Joey Gallo, 35.5. Votto. Donaldson, 32.5. Chris Davis, 34.5. You know what? That bet you're starting to. I'm starting to like what you're saying here with this plus money to the under on the 4.5 40 home run club.
Right.
They got the pitcher totals up here too. Aaron Nola 13.5. I was trying to. We talked about these Yankee props before. There was total strikeouts between Stanton and Judge, and man, we love the over. It was a pretty fair number there. I think it was 307. For the two of them. Yeah, it's a patient bet. You got to be patient. But
right.
And now we got NFL props, NFL draft props that are being posted on the board. Great time of the year to be a sports fan, guys. Major League Baseball is here. Hey, Mark, great stuff with the columns. I enjoy the reads. I've been so busy yelling at my screen for my horse to win and talking about basketball. So I enjoyed the columns to get caught up to date with the projections and the numbers. Great analysis. We encourage people to check them out. You can follow Mark on Twitter, and all the stories are all right on the SBR Twitter page as well as the SBR sportsbookreview.com website.
Yeah, starting next week, I will be starting the MLB Picks of the Day segment.
Nice.
So every day for the rest of the season.
Nice. You have a daily video and a play of the day.
Basically, I try to get 2 plays a day, try to throw a video in every once in a while. Usually post the videos on Twitter. a little bit of extra breakdown. But those I get a pick. SBR they like to get coverage on the TV games, so some of them you get assigned, but the picks of the day you get to pick your own. So those are the gems that I'm picking and betting on myself. So
great stuff, Mark. I look forward to it. We'll definitely talk baseball again. Thanks for taking the time to be with us, man.
You bet.
There's Mark Lathrop with us. Great stuff talking baseball with Mark. Clippers and Bucks are off and running, 35-29 right now, late in the first quarter of play for the baby blue clad LA Clippers. I'm not down with the orange in the Clippers jersey. Like, why do you have orange? Like, I don't get it. Like, what's the orange deal? It doesn't make sense, man. All right, so that's interesting. It's funny that they have the number at 4.5, and I'm thinking, man, fuck, there's going to be dudes that are going to hit 40-plus home runs. But if you look at the projections for the guys, Stanton's the highest one at 42.5. But pitching sucks. Pitching sucks. Pitching isn't great. Pitching isn't great. Small ballparks. Baseball's around tighter. They want runs scored. I mean, if you look at the numbers from last year, because the thing is, all these computer projections and computer graphs and projections and stuff like that, it's not reality. It's like, that's the mathematical number. But like Mark stated, players outperform and pitchers underperform. So I'm looking last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why they have it at 4.5. Last year, 5 guys hit 40 or more home runs. What's up, Mark? Mark's in the chat right now taking questions. So I'm just looking right now. So look, last year, it's tough. It's, at minus 175, I can understand the under angle at plus 140. But Giancarlo Stanton hit 59 fucking home runs in a pitcher's park. Now he's in Yankee Stadium with protection in the order. Aaron Judge, 52. J.D. Martinez, 45. Chris Davis, 43. Joey Gallo, 41. Nelson Cruz, 39. Cody Bellinger hit 39. He had limited at-bats, too. Justin Smoke is not hitting 38 home runs again. Justin Smoke, no. But then one of these other guys could come up out of nowhere, right? Arenado had 37. Ozuna had 37. If Bryce Harper stayed healthy, he could easily hit 40 home runs. It's an interesting bet, interesting debate. Now, I don't know. We always talk about conspiracy theories here, guys. I don't know, though. What are they going to do with the baseballs? There was basically evidence recently that the baseballs are wound tighter. that they basically stated that they made these baseballs ever since like a fucking the All-Star game of not last year, the year before, that the ball has been different. Like pitchers aren't crazy, right? They're saying, listen, the ball is different. It's crazy though. You look at a Major League Baseball. Remember when I was a kid, you could fucking bounce it a bit. It wouldn't come all the way back up. You look at baseballs now, they're like Super Balls. Fuck. You bounce them, they fucking pop back up. Look, baseball cleaned up the steroids, but chicks dig the long ball. People like home runs. People love the home run derby. They love Stanton. They love Judge. They love home runs. Dingers. Do you want to hear about how the government is conspiring and spying against you, or do you want to watch fucking Mark McGwire hit some dingers? Dingers. So I think they've juiced the ball, personally. I think they've juiced the baseball. They want to do everything. They want to lower the mound. Like they're doing everything possible to screw over the pitchers here. I think they're juicing the baseball. They can't have another big scandal with steroids and shit, so they juice the ball. Fuck me, man. Well, these fucking nights, this stupid fucking Chargers keeps unplugging. Even flow. Yeah, so I enjoy talking baseball with Mark. We'll definitely do it again. Looking at we'll run through some baseball totals. Listen, I'm going to respectfully disagree, though, with the Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm going to stand by my Milwaukee Brewer over selection. Except the one thing I will admit, I like the Cardinals over, too. And not everybody can win fucking, not everyone's going over, right? Not everyone's going over. I think the Milwaukee Brewers are an exciting, up-and-coming baseball team that have playoff expectations. And have money and will be willing to spend it at the trade deadline to make their team better. Look, the Milwaukee Brewers bring in the young stars. They already have a bunch of studs. And they tried to get fucking Yu Darvish. It's a good thing they didn't. Fuck you, Yu Darvish. You suck. You cost my Dodgers the World Series, you fucking prick. He's like, oh, I can't wait to face the Dodgers. So what? So you can give up 5 home runs in the first inning again? So, fucking prick. They tried to get Yu Darvish. They were in talks with Arrieta. They didn't want to pay him $75 million like the Phillies agreed to do. But the Brewers have money. Like they're willing to spend the money. They want to win. I think the Milwaukee Brewers, are in it, but I can't deny the fact. Listen, the Cubs are damn good. The St. Louis Cardinals Cubs are like fucking awesome. The Cardinals are good. The Brewers and the Cardinals to me are the same type thing. They're right there. And then you got the Pirates. Are they going to be an upstart team? The Cincinnati Reds are just sort of the Cincinnati Reds. Thing is, You know, the thing with the Dodgers is they could have gotten Justin Verlander. That's the fucking irony of it last year. That's the irony of us losing to Verlander. Like, we could have gotten Justin Verlander. Like, just the Detroit Tigers would have traded Justin Verlander to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers didn't want to be on the hook. And the Dodgers have money, but the Dodgers were like, we don't want to pay Justin Verlander $28 million this year and then again next year. He's owed like $56 million from the Astros now. And the Dodgers were like, yeah, we don't really know, and we'd rather get fucking Yu Darvish long-term. Thing is, Yu Darvish is injured all the time. Yu Darvish is a fucking pussy who chokes in big fucking games. I blame almost Dave Roberts for fucking pitching him in game fucking 7, but whatever. What are you going to do? It is what it is. It's behind us. But you can go fuck yourself, Darvish. And now you're talking shit like how somehow we mistreated you? We started you twice, bro, in the World Series in the span of a week. You gave up like 10 home runs. We were down 5-0 every time you pitched, fuck. You cost us the World Series. Like, I hope you know that, you. And then he's like, oh, I can't wait to take the Dodgers on. Yeah, because we fucked you over hard. I know, fuck. We chose your sorry ass over Verlander, who beat you, and now you're talking shit to us? I swear to God, fuck. If I was on the Dodgers, I'd fucking plunk him, man. I'd plunk him. If I was pitching, he's pitching against us, just hit him, fuck. Just hit him. Say, this is for last year, asshole. Bam, fuck. Pluck him, fuck. Right in the back, fuck. Fucking hard, too. Fucking little fastball, fuck. Take this, you. You're looking forward to the Dodgers. Ah, here we are. I'd plunk him. I'm dead serious. I'd plunk his ass, fuck. I believe in the fucking plunk. And you know what I don't believe in? These softcore fucking pansy, pinko, commie, fucking jackal media types that are all, it's immature when they beanball each other. Fuck you, it's immature. Your columns are immature, fuck. That's what's immature. Your fucking talk shows are immature. It's fucking called baseball, all right? Motherfucker fucks around, hit him. Pretty simple. Just hit him. It's a very simple code, fuck. If someone fucks around, plunk him. This fucking Yu Darvish is running his mouth. I'd fucking hit him right in the spine, like really hard. And when he bitches, I'll say, listen, you're fucking lucky I didn't hit you in the head, fuck. Now take first base and shut the fuck up. Plunk him. Adrian says his cousin, plunk him. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, Yu Darvish upsets me. He upsets me. The guy was terrible. I backed him up too. It's just funny though that my whole point was the Dodgers had a choice between Darvish and Verlander. We chose Darvish, and I can't lie. I was on board at the time. I can't lie. Because I'm a fucking idiot. That's why. It's like I'm an idiot for thinking the Milwaukee Bucks were to play tonight. Fuck. Yeah, the New York Yankees. No, I won't be around Kitchener Ranger. I'm on the air. I'm on the air 20 hours a day here, brother. Matt McCursey, great show last night talking about parlays. Thank you much. Thanks, Matt. I'd like to go to the baseball game, Kitchener Ranger, but I can't. We're going to have a big road rage in the summertime, big event. Also go to some Argo games, Raptor playoff games around the corner. But yeah, this Thursday, no, yeah, I'm not tomorrow and Thursday. They're scoring a shitload of points in this basketball game. We're on the over here. At least that's looking good. So I think the Tigers trade Cabrera. Yes. Yeah, the Tigers are beaten down. Yeah, we can't all live like we're not all like Kitchener Ranger Ray. Kitchener Ranger Ray going Jamaica trips, baseball games, Leaf games. Who do I look like, Ray? Johnny Manziel? We finished 4th, Jazz. We finished 4th. Good. What up, Shell Dog? The Minnesota Twins. 82.5. I think it's a fair number. Look, they won 85 baseball games last year. The Detroit Tigers are a fucking train wreck. They're going to trade Cabrera. Like they will. They're a train wreck. The Tigers are a train wreck, and they're not back this year or anything like that. The Chicago White Sox are interesting. The White Sox, like we were talking with Mark, man, there's going to be a lot of over bets this year in Major League Baseball. Like the White Sox have a lot of fucking power, man. Like they got a lot of juice and shit, but their pitching's horrific, right? So, and the Kansas City Royals, people say this about the Royals every year that, the Royals, they lost everybody, it's over. And I've always warned people every year. I don't know, man. The Royals are a scrappy team. Ed Yost's a good manager. They find a way. I think in reality's finally caught up to them, Shell Dog. So really, in all actuality, the Minnesota Twins really are the second best team in this division. And no reason why they can't be successful, like Mark was talking about. You play these teams 19 times each. So look, the Minnesota Twins play the White Sox and the Tigers 38 fucking times. They go 24-14. That's 10 games above 500 right there. It's not like the Royals are great. Now, one thing, though, about the Minnesota Twins is, and you know what? The Twins' numbers here, I'm going to get fancy now and talk about the outliers. But the Twins' numbers sort of remind me of the Raiders' numbers. Like, remember last year, the Raiders, and I brought it up a million fucking times about the Raiders last year, and Raider fans, like, fucking give me death threats on Twitter or on YouTube when I did the season previews, but you fucksticks, eh? I was right. I told you guys you were fucking overrated. But anyways, the Raiders were what? They were a 12-4 football team. Their winning fucking margin was like 6 points or fucking something. I forget off the top of my head what it was. I think it was 10 points. It was like the 12 points. It was like the lowest margin of victory for a 12-team win team in the history of the NFL. And you look at the Minnesota Twins, and it's all coming back to me right now off the top of my head. The motherfucking Minnesota Twins were the luckiest team ever last year. I remember in one-run games, man, they won every one-run game. And they were still, so the 85 and 77. You look at their run differential on the year, only plus 27. So basically you played 162 games and you were only 27 runs better than your opposition for the entire year. Like, to put it in context, the Cleveland Indians were 254 runs better. The Houston Astros were 196 runs better. So the Minnesota Twins, and numbers guys would tell you. I don't know if Mark's still in the chat here, but number guys would almost tell you that that it's sort of like turnovers in football, that one-run base. But I don't know. Like I said, that's the beautiful thing about baseball, guys. You can debate anything. Like, so does the fact that a team wins one-run games all the time mean that they're lucky? Or does it mean that they're good in close games? You know? I mean, I've gotten into arguments with fantasy guys who told me there's no such thing as clutch. They said, no, it's all numbers. And, there's no such thing as clutch. And I said, fuck, of course there's such a thing as clutch. I said, look, some guys are better in the fucking 8th and 9th inning than in the 2nd inning. It's just a reality. Human. Like, there is a human aspect to this stuff. But I'm just stating, yeah. Listen, I like the overshot, Doug. I'm not like, oh, no, don't do it. But I'm just giving you food for thought that, listen, they were 8 games over 500, and their winning margin through 162 games was 27 runs. So in other words, so I don't know. Was it lucky that they won as many one-run games? So here, Mark's here right now. What do you think of the Minnesota Twins, Mark? You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Gary and Thorne bitching. He hated the Twins last year, and Gary's a big numbers guy. And he was like, they don't fucking hit well. They don't pitch well. They don't do anything well, yet they win. And he was baffled by it. And I said, well, it's human nature. Fuck, they grind out wins. And he's like, nah, they're just lucky. It's an outlier. It's going to fall apart. But that division's pretty bad. Yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it. I was going to say, like, look, as you would agree, Mark, like you would agree, right? The Detroit Tigers are a joke. The Tigers are a fucking disgrace. The Chicago White Sox have some good young power and shit. They've got, a few young stars, but they don't have any pitching at all. The Kansas City Royals finally catching up to them. The Royals going to have some good young guys and surprise us a bit, but Minnesota are the second best team in this division. One thing with Minnesota also, only 41-40 at home last year. No real home field advantage. I'm not in love with the Twins here. I'd like it better if it was 82.5 as opposed to this 84.5. All right, let's take our first break of the evening. We appreciate Mark joining us, and feel free to fire him off some baseball questions. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll keep on talking some baseball, and I see that now there's NFL draft props up on the board. We'll talk a little NFL draft props, some NBA, NCAA, and everything else in between. The Twisted Tuesday continues. Gotta get some water. I will. The NBA's fuck guys at this time of the year, man. Best baseball line ever is Don Drysdale. He's like, I didn't intentionally walk a lot of people in my career, but when I did it with one pitch. He said, he goes, if I was ever told to intentionally walk someone, I just hit them. He goes, why waste 3 pitches? Like I was saying, Don Drysdale. He said, I didn't get asked to intentionally walk a lot of people, but when I did it with one pitch. Nowadays, a bunch of pussies play the game. So speaking of pussies, I've been trying to eat healthier over the last couple of months and stuff. I'm not going to lie, I've been slipping up as of late, and I blame Cam Stewart. So Cam's here. We play What's in Cam's Bag. He's got a bunch of Kentucky Fried Chicken coupons. This is for you, Alex Smith, too. Is Alex Smith tuning in tonight? I never order from Kentucky Fried Chicken. I've ordered from Kentucky Fried Chicken like twice in my life, and I've done it at radio or TV stations. I did it with Cam. Once me and Cam bet a fucking bucket of chicken once on a game on the air, and I won, and I held the tuna. It's like, call KFC, man. And we had it delivered to the TV studio. So Cam's leaving these KFC fucking coupons around, and I got suckered in. And Alex fucking Smith, SBR's Alex Smith, is like, that's what makes Canada great. If the U.S. had KFC delivery, life would be better in America. And I said, yeah, but it's fucking expensive. When you order from KFC in Canada, there just is. So, there's like a $5 delivery fee and shit. So Cam's like, dude, they take coupons now, right? So I'm going to give you a coupon. You can order from KFC. So I was going to order a nice little 3-piece meal from KFC. Probably would have cost me like $15 or something. Instead, Cam fucking starts throwing this value shit. No, you're going to get ripped off. And hey, then I'm like, you know what? He's right, fuck. So I ended up getting the $19.99 fucking family feast. And I'm one dude, man. I'm not Cam either, right? So like the family feast, I still feel like shit, fuck. Like as I talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, fuck. So I got the stupid fucking coupon. I call Kentucky Fried Chicken. Takes them 78 fucking minutes to get here, man. Like nearly an hour and a fucking half, man. All right? Long fucking time. I was fucking livid by the time it showed up and shit. But I got to tell you, man, I've been rolling in KFC, man. Like, look at how big this bag is. Like, this bag of garbage is in my stomach. So it's this grease, evidently. Like, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Giving birth to fucking KFC buckets here, fuck. Oh, a fucking bucket of fucking chicken. I gotta tell you, man, they don't fuck around with his family feast, man. They ain't kidding. I was like, man, I was able to eat, like, Cam mocked me for being a pussy. I told him, he's like, what do you get when you go to KFC? 2 or 3-piece meal? I'm like, yeah, 2 or 3-piece meal. I said, maybe I'll get a 3-piece, but Cam's like, no. I said, what do you get? He's like, I get the 9-piece. I'm like, you eat 9 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken at once in one sitting. He goes, pretty much. I might have 1 or 2 left over. I'm like, dear God. So I ended up ordering I got the bucket. I got this big macaroni. And then, you figure with the family fucking feast, they give you gravy. Fuck, there's no gravy. So she's like, do you want gravy with that? I'm like, does it come with it? She's like, no. I'm like, well, I think it's going to be pretty fucking dry to eat a bucket of chicken without any gravy. So I'm like, yeah, give me the gravy. I don't ask her how much it is. I'm like, yeah, give me the gravy. Would you like to, like, this chick deserves better to be at KFC. She should be like a fucking car salesman, man. This bitch upsold me good. She's like, can I offer you a nice piece of strawberry cheesecake for dessert? I was like, yeah, you can actually. That sounds good. I'm like, yes. I'm like, how much is this? She's like, that'll be $34. I'm like, yeah, like that's what I wanted to do. I want to spend $34 on KFC. And I'm like, fucking Cam. And I'm like, I told the lady, I said, I got a coupon here, right? $19.99. She's like, yeah. Plus your sauce, plus the pie, plus a $5 delivery charge, $34. She's like, do you want me to proceed with the order? What am I going to do? it sounded so good. Fucking family feast, pies. And I was like, man, fuck, I don't want to spend 40 because you got to tip there after. I'm like, fuck, it cost me 40 fucking dollars. But I was like, yeah, send it. Then it took for fucking ever. But I ate KFC last night until I fucking nearly threw up. Like I had five fucking greasy pieces of big ass chicken. They put big pieces in this thing. I ate a fucking family size French fries, a family pack macaroni and cheese, and I had the fucking strawberry cheesecake after. I know Brooks is disgusted with my diet here. Nate Brooks is like, oh my God, Morency. Look at Jazz. You're a disappointment. I got a bucket of chicken here. I mean, so I ate KFC last night. I spent $40 on this shit. I had no choice. So I ate it again tonight. Fuck, but I fucking, I'm a real savage, fuck. I ended up buying more French fries and more macaroni fucking salad. Yeah, man, I'm a little congested here, man. I've got buckets of chicken in me, fuck. I was hungry. What do you want me to fucking do? It's Cam's fault. Guy's leaving fucking coupons fucking in my face all fucking day. I'm just staring. Yeah, so the moral of the story is if you order Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's going to fucking cost you. And you'll have to wait, but it's pretty good. Everything costs money now to order, fuck. Try to order pizza and wings. It's always $30, fuck. Toronto's an expensive city. That's why me and Cam today were discussing moving to Morgantown, West Virginia. Do we have any listeners, any viewers right now in West Virginia? Settle down, Big Will. I don't know how Bruce tried to afford all these pizzas, fuck. It's fucking costly. No, I do like fish. Settle down, Reckless, with cooking food. I cook as much as I can now. I'm a busy man. Yeah, like I'm not. We were kidding today, though. We were talking about West Virginia, and West Virginia is going to legalize sports betting. Right, so we were talking about how West Virginia is going to legalize sports betting, and I brought up the fact that at West Virginia football and basketball games, they serve alcohol. Now, is recreational weed legal in West Virginia yet? No, huh? I think they were talking about it, though. Yeah, so we decided to look up like upscale apartments and condos in Morgantown, West Virginia. we found a great fucking place. $705. $705 a month to live in Morgantown. Except, yeah, we know we're not moving to Morgantown. Our whole point was we wanted to go there at least for a football game. I've said that for years about that place. I'm like, man, I've always wanted to go to a football game. I really have. I don't know why. It's like the one place. I'm like, yeah, I want to go to a game there. But I'm like, I really don't want to go to West Virginia. But like, you know, if I was really rich and shit, I could land in a helicopter, go to the game, and they pick me up and they take me out after. It's crazy, Shell Dog. It's like a 3-bedroom carpeted condo overlooking like the mountains and shit like that for $705 a month. That's why we were talking about how expensive it is here in Toronto and what a ripoff it is. And we were like, yeah, Morgantown's nice and cheap. How much is it there? $705. I don't think I'd be able to last very long in Morgantown. Like, I'd last like a fucking day. I'd be like that poker player that tried to move to Des Moines for $100,000, and he lasted fucking 24 hours, 48 hours. He was back like 3 days later, whatever it was. All right, so we were talking about NFL draft props. It's starting to pop up right now. And it's funny, too. It's amazing. The one thing with the NFL draft props is because the media has suddenly, there's a bunch of stories out there that the Browns are taking Sam Darnold first overall now. So suddenly Sam Darnold is minus 275 to be the first pick in the NFL draft. Now, number one, I'll tell you, I don't know what the Cleveland Browns are going to do. I mean, they're an erratic franchise. They've had a nice offseason. They made some smart moves, but I really don't fucking know what they're going to do. You know, they're an unpredictable team because they're, you know, I don't know. They just signed Tyrod Taylor, so they're going to draft a fucking quarterback too. I think the smart thing would be to fucking take Saquon Barkley if I was them, but I'm not them. So Sam Darnold's the favorite right now, minus 275. So there's almost value just saying no. But I don't think Sam Darnold is worthy of being the first overall pick in the NFL draft. I think the Cleveland Browns are making a big mistake if they fucking think they're going to build their franchise around this kid. Yet the Cleveland Browns have made a lot of big mistakes, right? So it doesn't make any, I don't know, man. Like, that's the whole thing with the NFL. You can try to analyze what makes sense, but NFL general managers don't do things that make sense. They do stupid things. You know, we were talking last week about how we think the Houston Texans can legitimately like be the team to knock off the Patriots this year. But they have a moron for a coach. And all you need to know, you know who the Houston fucking Texans signed today? You know who the Houston Texans signed today to be a backup quarterback on their team? Brandon fucking Weeden. Brandon Weeden. It's a fireable offense. What the fuck are you fucking doing? How is Brandon Weeden even a fucking thing? How is this motherfucker still in the NFL? And how? And why is he on the Houston Texans? Like, you want me to take you seriously as a Super Bowl contender, yet you sign Brandon fucking Whedon. So what happens if fucking Deshaun Watson gets hurt? Is Brandon Whedon time? What are you, a fucking moron, O'Brien? Like, how the hell am I supposed to bet on the Houston Texans to win a fucking AFC when they're signing Brandon Whedon as their backup quarterback? Brandon fucking Whedon couldn't be the starting quarterback at Oklahoma State right now, let alone in the NFL. Like, what the fuck are they doing? It's like Bill O'Brien is obsessed. What's up, Sonny Vega? It's like Bill O'Brien is obsessed with signing every piece of shit backup quarterback in the fucking world. He's 34 years old, Kyle Johnson. He's fucking terrible. Brandon Whedon's one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League. And listen, you still accomplished something. Somehow you survived the NFL this long. You're fucking terrible. Like, Brandon Whedon's a worse quarterback than I am gambler. I like that Bill O'Brien likes that fucking Whedon knows the system. He knew the system before, too. Like, what? He knows the system. Yeah, and Malaysian airline fucking pilots fucking know directions to the fucking city they're supposed to get to, too. Doesn't mean they get there. Malaysian airline pilots, fuck. Where they know the GPS system in the plane. Yeah. You know what the difference is between your pile of shit and Brandon Whedon, Roger? Brandon Whedon smells better. Yeah, Brandon Whedon's a real smart kid, fuck. He's fucking knowing how to fleece NFL. This is what I'm talking about, though, with NFL fucking general managers. Like, who in what world thinks that signing Brandon Whedon's a good idea? Yeah, he knows. Good call, Alan. He knows the system, which means, yeah, he won't protest the anthem, and he's happy to be here. Yeah, of course he's happy to be there, fuck. Ryan Fitzpatrick is like Joe Montana next to Brandon Whedon. Like, I cannot stress how bad of a quarterback Brandon Whedon is. He's terrible. Brandon Whedon in the National Football League is 6-19. He's 6-19 as a starting quarterback. He's completed 57% of his passes. He's thrown 31 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. You remember the Dallas Cowboys, man. Fuck, he was bad. Like, he was just so bad. The Cleveland Browns, he was terrible. Everyone's terrible with the Browns, but he's a bad quarterback. He was a good quarterback in college because he was like 5 years older than everybody. Like, Johnny Manziel is better than Brandon Whedon. No, but I'm just saying, like, the whole thing is, so what if Deshaun Watson gets hurt? So that's your plan. Deshaun Watson goes down. We replace him with Brandon Whedon. And, like, how the fuck are we supposed to have confidence in betting on this team to win a conference and go to a Super Bowl? Bill O'Brien is an idiot. Brandon Whedon is not this year's Case Keenum. Brandon Whedon is worse than Brock Osweiler. Strong words, I know. Second half has just started here. Bucks and Clippers. I'm on the Bucks and the over in this game. Like, Brock Osweiler is better than Brandon Whedon. Yeah, of course they don't plan on playing him. It's not like they said a plan on playing him, but the Houston Texans quarterbacks get hurt every year. And every year they're ill-prepared for it. And every year they have the Brandon Whedons of the world on the fucking field. They should have signed Kaepernick last year, but they pussied out. No. You know who Brandon Whedon is this year? Brandon Whedon is this year's Brandon Whedon. Fuck. That's who Brandon Whedon is. He's this year's Brandon fucking Whedon. He's the worst quarterback in the NFL. He's the worst. Like, Brandon Whedon is, I think, is the worst quarterback with a job in the NFL. Terrible. No, Brandon Whedon's not even as good as Mark Sanchez. No. EJ Manuel's better than Whedon. The only good thing about Brandon Whedon is his name is Weed. That's it. EJ Manuel's 20 times better than Brandon Whedon is. Brandon F. Whedon. Fuck Brandon Whedon. He's fucking terrible. You name me a quarterback, and I'll tell you. Throw quarterbacks at me that you think are better than Brandon or worse than Brandon Whedon. I'll tell you. Nobody is worse than Brandon Whedon. Name me a quarterback worse than Brandon Whedon. There's one guy. What's that fuckhead on the fucking what's that dickhead from fucking from Wisconsin? He was on the Colts and he was on the Packers. He's pretty bad. What was that? What's that guy? What was his name? Settle down. AJ McCarron's a good quarterback. EJ Manuel is way better than Brandon Whedon. John O'Corn, that's not fair. Hey, you're naming college quarterbacks. Austin Davis is a fucking piece of shit quarterback. Yeah, but he's still better than Whedon. Yeah, Tolzien. Thank you, Darcy and Chas. Tolzien. Scott Tolzien is the only guy that I'll be like, all right, maybe we have an argument here. Scott Tolzien. Thanks. That's the guy. You guys knew the piece of crap guy from Wisconsin. Scott Tolzien. Scott Tolzien is terrible, man. Matt Castle, nah, he's way better than Whedon. Scott Tolzien's the only guy you can throw at me here. Eli Manning. Andy Dalton is not worse than Whedon. Josh Johnson. I don't know, Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson never plays. Josh Johnson has been TJ Yates better than Whedon. What's up, Brian Rowe? Scabberly equal Whedon. Yeah, TJ Yates way better than Whedon. No, guys. Basically, the only person that's equally as bad. Nate Peterman, not fair. Too young. Hasn't played long enough. Scott Tolzien. Yeah, Kristen Hackenberg's pretty bad. Good call. No, Nate Peterman's not that bad. The kid had one fucking bad half in his first start. 3 of those 5 interceptions were tipped. Listen, Nate Peterman might be terrible. Hackenberg is terrible. Hackenberg is terrible. Hackenberg is on the list. Hackenberg, like, he's a fucking train wreck, this guy. Hackenberg's a train wreck. Paxton Lynch is pretty bad. But I don't know, man. You know, is Paxton Lynch? Whedon might be better than Paxton Lynch. No, Geno Smith. I'm not way off. I'm way on. Brandon Whedon is one of the worst quarterbacks ever to play in the league. Yeah, Jesse Palmer was fucking terrible, but doesn't play anymore. RG3. RG3 didn't suck. He just didn't last long. Tom Savage is terrible. Tom Savage is terrible, but he's better than Brandon Whedon. Ty Detmer, terrible, but you're going back a ways. We're not naming worst quarterbacks of all time, although Brandon Whedon would be on the list. Brett Hundley's pretty bad, but he's better than Whedon. Keep them coming. The only guy that I'll fucking agree with is Scott Tolzien. Scott Tolzien's pretty bad. Matt Flynn was pretty bad, but yeah, we can say Matt Flynn's sort of in the conversation. Matt Flynn, remember Matt Flynn? Matt Flynn's pretty bad. You're insane, Drew. Tim Tebow's way better than Whedon. Tim Tebow won an NFL playoff game. Brandon Whedon, like, couldn't beat the fucking, I don't think he could beat North Texas Mean Green right now. Mike Glennon's bad. Sean Hill wasn't bad. Matt McGloin. Yeah, Matt McGloin's pretty bad. I'll give Matt McGloin pretty bad. Connor Cook's bad. I will admit, I thought Connor Cook would be decent too. You know, the Dallas Cowboys were going to take Connor Cook? No shit. The Dallas Cowboys, this is what I'm talking about. This is how this conversation started with the NFL, which the GMs, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and the owners and shit. They fall ass backwards into stuff. It's a true story. You can look it up. It's valid. It's a true story. Basically, the Dallas Cowboys were about to take Connor Cook in the 4th round of the draft. And the Raiders took them 1 pick before. They took Connor Cook 1 pick before. And fucking, it was like Jones Jr. and somebody else said, all right, we'll go with Dak Prescott. And Jerry Jones was all pissed. He was like, I wanted Cook. And he was like, whatever, do what you want. And they fucking went with Prescott. Connor Cook is terrible. Dak Prescott turns into a star. The Dallas Cowboys weren't even going to fucking draft him. They were about to take Connor Cook, but Connor Cook got drafted. It's amazing how life changes for people. Yeah, Kelly Smith. Listen, we're not talking about biggest bust quarterbacks ever. I'm not saying that Brandon Whedon's the biggest bust quarterback ever. I'm saying that he's the worst quarterback in the NFL and that he's one of the worst quarterbacks in recent memory. He's terrible. You can't win with Brandon Whedon. Like, look, he's played in 25 games. He's won 6 of them. I don't know what more I can tell you, fuck, all right? Like, EJ Manuel was fucking 7-9, for fuck's sakes, in his rookie year. On a shitty Bills team. Brandon Whedon he was on the fucking Cowboys, man. He single-handedly, like, destroyed their season. Like, they lost, like, 9 games in a row with this guy. Interceptions, fumbles, clueless. Like, I remember Jerry Jones was like, he's a good kid, but fucking, damn, he makes a lot of mistakes. Jimmy Clausen, terrible. Ryan Lindley, terrible. JP Lossman, terrible. Yeah, you guys are naming some pretty bad quarterbacks. Bruce Gradkowski, match fixer at Akron, or Toledo, excuse me. Jason White was pretty bad. Good call. You know who actually I think is the worst quarterback in the NFL? I think he's the third string somewhere right now. Stephen Morris. Stephen Morris is a fucking terrible quarterback, man. This fucking kid has fucking screwed me so many fucking times, man. Like, even in the preseason, man. I remember once I had big money on a Colt preseason game. Like, I had like a nickel on a preseason game, a Colt preseason game. I'm about to win. It's like we're winning all game. Like, all game. It's like a great pick. It's like, this looks good. Fucking Stephen Morris comes in. Fuck. The fucking kid's like a single hand fucking atomic bomb. Fuck. Fucking fumbles the snap. Fucking boots it. Pick 6. Fucking. I was like, oh my God. I remember too, like, losing money on him with remember he was with the Miami Hurricanes. He was the Miami quarterback. And saying shit. This kid, man, this kid likes fucking throwing interceptions more than fucking the Kardashians like fucking blowing NBA dick, all right? Eric Hipple. Yeah, Logan Thomas was pretty bad. But Logan Thomas is a good tight end now. He's not bad. Stooch the man. What's up, Stooch? Heath Schuler. Heath Schuler was terrible. He went on to be a terrible politician. Cade McCown, pretty bad. Yeah, but the McCowns, these guys, a million of them. Steve Stenstrom. Well, if you want to get into a list of bad quarterbacks, we just have to go through the history of the Buffalo Bills quarterbacks. This is the Buffalo Bill quarterbacks, all right? Johnny Green, Jack Kemp, great era, Jack Kemp. Also went on to be a politician. Then the Bills had some tough times. Then they had Joe Ferguson was their quarterback for years. Then Vince Ferragamo. Then Jim Kelly for years. And this is where the problem started. Todd Collins, Alex Van Pelt, Doug Flutie, Rob Johnson, Doug Flutie, Rob Johnson, Rob Johnson, Doug Flutie, Alex Van Pelt, Rob Johnson, Drew Bledsoe, J.P. Lossman, Kelly Holcomb, J.P. Lossman, Trent Edwards, J.P. Lossman, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Trent Edwards, Brian Brom. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Trent Edwards, Brian Brom, Ryan Fitzpatrick, EJ Manuel, Thad Lewis, and Jeff Toole. Yeah, that might have been like the worst trio of quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. And we wonder why we weren't winning. EJ Manuel, Thad Lewis, and Jeff Toole. Kyle Orton, EJ Emanuel, Matt Castle, Tyrod Taylor, EJ Manuel, Tyrod Taylor, EJ Manuel, Tyrod Taylor, Nate Peterman. Been a fucking shit show, man, since fucking Jim Kelly, man. I guess you can say Drew Bledsoe was all right for a couple of years. I'll be honest, even as a lifelong Bill fan, I wasn't fully on board with Drew Bledsoe. I didn't like the fact that he was a Patriot. Like, I didn't. It just, I remember when we got him, I was like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was happy because I was like, he's better than fucking Van Pelt and Johnson and shit. But I was like, he's a stopgap. Little did I realize that it would only get worse. The Buffalo Bills were 5-1 with Trent Edwards in 2007. He was on the front page of the USA Today sports section. Trent Edwards, King of Buffalo, and fucking great kid. He lives with his sister lives in Buffalo, and blah, blah, blah. And he's a family man and all this type of shit. 5-1. I think the Bills finished like fucking 7-9. They just fell apart. The kid's career fell apart. Now they've got A.J. McCarron and Nate Peterman. I would expect the Bills to draft Drew Bledsoe, dumped a shit ton of money. You know what it was with into the winery? He's a rich dude. You know what it was with Trent Edwards? He had concussion problems, and he was never the same. He actually didn't suck. But you know what? It's hard. It's deceptive. It's hard to tell with these NFL quarterbacks because Trevor Siemian didn't suck at first either. Trevor Siemian was pretty good. Like when they went to Trevor Siemian, and Siemian was the quarterback for the Broncos out of week 1, out of the gate and shit. They beat Carolina. He wasn't bad, right? Like he was manageable. And the thing with him was with he never got better, and then he got worse somehow. It seems like some average quarterbacks can be all right out of the gate at first for a month or so, and then reality catches up to them. Like Trent Edwards was 5-1. I remember Todd Collins. We're going back a ways. Only older guys remember this, but Todd Collins was a Michigan Wolverine quarterback, and he replaced Jim Kelly, literally. It's like Jim Kelly was gone. It was after the Super Bowl and shit, and we were playing the Dallas Cowboys. It was the fucking season opener, and we had to play the Dallas Cowboys, and they just kicked the shit out of us in the Super Bowl. We had no quarterback. We had a kid quarterback out of Michigan, Todd Collins. Todd Collins won that game. Like it was a miracle. I remember betting on it because I hated the Cowboys. I got a spite. It's like whatever. I'll hope for the best. The Buffalo Bills beat the Dallas Cowboys. It was like revenge, fucking hardly for the Super Bowl, but they beat the Dallas Cowboys and Todd Collins, and everyone at Buffalo was like, "Wow, this Todd Collins kid's pretty fucking poised." And man, he just beat the Dallas Cowboys. And Todd Collins will be fine. Todd Collins lost the starting job in Buffalo like fucking 2 weeks later. He was that bad. Todd Collins was good at Michigan. He sort of came after the Elvis Gerbach. I think he followed Gerbach. Jake Locker was a great college quarterback who kind of regressed. Jacoby Brissett's a top-tier backup. and a low-tier starter. We got Blake Bortles facts. Blake Bortles has never pushed a 66-year-old paraplegic woman. Cordell Stewart. Cordell Stewart was pretty good for a couple of years. Cordell Stewart, a lot of talk and gay jokes and this and that and stuff, but Cordell Stewart, he won games, man. He won games in the NFL. He fucking beat Michigan on that Hail Mary. Like, when I think of Cordell Stewart football career, I think of a lot of success, actually. Somehow a lot of success at my expense. Like, I swear to God, like, he beat the Bills, I think, once in the playoffs. Like, they beat the Bills, I remember, in a big game. I was like, fucking Cordell's been terrorizing me for years. Like, he fucking threw that fucking Hail Mary in Ann Arbor. That game still upsets me. Motherfucker, man. He dropped back and heaved it like fucking 68 yards. Fuck. It's like, so like, whenever anyone mocks Cordell Stewart, I'm like, yeah, keep mocking him, man. I don't know. The guy fucking won a lot of big games, man. I think he's a national champion in fucking college football. I don't know if he started. I think it was Darian Hagan was the quarterback, but I think Cordell did. Didn't Cordell play in a national championship game? Or maybe it was like the fucking Orange Bowl and they finished second or something. But yeah, like if you, like people, like I said, people always, oh, Cordell this, Cordell that. Yeah, but if you actually like shut up and fucking look at Cordell Stewart's football accomplishments, it's like, yeah, man, he was pretty good. Fuck. Like I said, he screwed me over a couple of times pretty good. Fuck. He was pretty mobile, man. He had a good arm. Fuck. Thing with Cordell Stewart is he'd do weird things at times, right? Like, he was unfairly criticized. The Pittsburgh Steelers, now I'm not saying this is a fact because I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure off the top of my head right now. Like, they never had a black starting quarterback. You know, I know maybe they had black backups before, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know, there was some racism going on with him and the pressure at the time. Anybody that doesn't believe the black quarterbacks get judged differently is insane. And especially in yesteryear. It's not as bad now, but it still kind of is. It's still there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Steeler fans are kind of, borderline. I don't want to accuse them. Hey, thanks, Mark. I look forward to doing it again, buddy. Thanks for joining us, man. Yeah, Milwaukee's taking a 79-78 lead. No, not the best backup of all time, but he's, you know, Charlie Batch had a nice career as a backup. You do the best backup QBs of all time. You know, you're getting into it. It's debatable, right? Are you talking about a star player? We've done this before. You talking about a star player that was waiting? You know, because I've seen lists where they're like Tom Brady's the best backup quarterback of all time because he was a backup to start the season. It's like, no. Tom Brady was a fucking kid, all right? He wasn't a starter yet. You know, you want to get into the best backup quarterbacks of all time. Look, Steve Young backed up Joe Montana. You know, Steve Young signed, and they basically told him, listen, Joe's not going to be here forever. And he had to hang around and fucking wait, you know, and it was kind of tense and shit. And then he finally got his own Super Bowl after. But so, like, it's sort of, are we talking guys that were backup quarterbacks by definition, like Brett Favre was a backup in Atlanta, or, you know, what it should be. Who's the best Sage Rosenfeld? Who's the best motherfucker like Frank Reich? You know what I mean? Who's a guy that was a backup for 12 years and was, you know, reliable? Yeah, the journeyman the journeyman backup quarterback. That's the, you know, when you're discussing the best backup quarterback, to me, that's the way you go. Like, look at this, like bullshit. Like, I'm looking at a list here. This is from the Big Lead. Dak Prescott, 4th overall. What do you mean back? The kid was a rookie, fuck, and the guy got hurt. Like, it's not a backup quarterback. It's bullshit. Jim Harbaugh was a pretty good backup quarterback. I think we got to get into Earl Morrall. Earl Morrall. Earl Morrall he's the guy. He's the motherfucking guy. Now, Earl Morrall is before my time, but I'm an historian and I understand, you know, what he did. Earl Morrall, definition of a savvy veteran journeyman backup when he joined the Baltimore Colts in 1968, age 34. He started regular 3 years earlier with the Giants on a team that finished with 1 win in a season when reigning MVP Johnny Unitas hurt his elbow in the final preseason game. Earl Morrall stepped in with Don Shula's Baltimore Colts in 68, went 13-1, unseating the Packers for the first time since 1964 as NFL Western champs. Morrall averaged a whopping 92 point yards per pass attempt and threw 26 touchdowns and won the league MVP. Morrall's 1968 season would have been ranked higher if he didn't have such a horrible game in one of the NFL's most famous games when he lost to Joe Namath and the Jets. But then you got Earl Morrall again, 1972. 4 years later, Morrall was again coming off the bench in a historic season. He went 9-0 as a starter for the Miami Dolphins while Bob Greasy was out, as the Dolphins became the last team in history to go undefeated. He then started the first 2 playoff games before Greasy returned to start and win the Super Bowl. You're the best backup quarterback in history when you're the backup and you're on the team that went undefeated and you went 9-0 out of the fucking 14 regular season games. Or I should say he won 7-0 and 2 in the playoffs. They played 14 games. Yeah. Earl Morrall. Earl Morrall. And I see Tony Sincata steps up and in. And yeah, Tony, thanks, Tony, for Jeff Hostetler. I'm all aware about Jeff Hostetler as a Buffalo Bill fan. Fucking Hostetler. To this day, I still don't know how Hostetler didn't fumble that fucking football. Bruce Smith tackled him in the end zone. It was the last play of the half. It was like right before the half, the first half. And Bruce Smith came up from behind him in the end zone, man, and fucking whacked, man, his arm. And he whacked his arm so hard. He hit Hostetler's arm. Like he swiped, like, you know, oftentimes you get frustrated when you see a player like go for the tackle instead of the ball, and you're like, why do you swipe the ball? Bruce Smith tried. Like he came in from like the blind side and he fucking swatted at the ball. And he sort of hit Hostetler's wrist and arm, forearm, but fucking hard, man. And Bruce Smith's a big dude. Like he got fucking a clean hit. Bam! And he hit Hostetler's arm so hard, Hostetler fell over, but he didn't drop the ball. Yeah, it was a safety. It was like unbelievable. Fuck. Like if we would have scored a touchdown, it would have changed the dynamic of the game. Like it would have been different. I know it haunts Bruce Smith to this day. Bruce Smith talked about it and said, for the love of God, I don't know how he hung onto that ball. You know how I hung onto that ball? Jeff Hostetler is a big 6'5" fucking motherfucker from West Virginia. Fuck. Yeah, he beat the Niners then too, and then he beat the Bills. Fuck. Both favorites predictions, guy. I like Michigan to cover and Villanova to cover. Oh, I think Michigan's the safer bet. All right, it's 82-80 right now for the Milwaukee Bucks. Fourth quarter's just started. We'll keep our eye on this. We're on the Bucks money line, and we're on the over. The Giants were fucking pricks in those days, right? Remember, they always used to screw the Niners. Jeff Hostetler beats them, and then there's the time of fucking Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor and the Giants, and who was it? Fucking Carson and shit. They fucking they're the ones that fucking smoked Joe Montana. Off the top of my head, though, I believe it was Lawrence Taylor that fucking killed him, wasn't it? Was it Lawrence Taylor or was it fucking Carson? It was Taylor, wasn't it? Taylor came in from the fucking side, the back, and just right in the back. No, it was Leonard Marshall. Lawrence Taylor killed Joe Theismann, fuck. It was fucking Leonard Marshall that killed Joe Montana. Leonard Marshall. I'm pretty sure it was Leonard Marshall. Leonard Marshall's a big dude too, man. Montana was small. Remember the hit right from the back? It was like, oh, fuck, Montana's dead. Montana's dead. It was one of those fucking Giants. Bill Parcells is such an asshole. He was so lucky. Like, it's like Norwood misses the kick. You fucking hurt Joe Montana. Fuck, you were lucky. Hostetler hangs on to the football. I was so happy when the Packers fucking when Brett Favre and Desmond Howard beat Parcells in the Super Bowl. I was very happy about that. I was like, finally, Parcells. You didn't get any luck. You got your ass handed to you, fuck. Yeah, Leonard Marshall. I'm still fucking stupid. I'm still pissed off I didn't bet big on Michigan at 80-1. It's been bittersweet for me, man, this run, to be honest. Would have been a great hedge. All right, give me a quick second. I got to grab another bottle of water here. We got to get Tony Sincata on the show again sometime in the future. Was it Jim Burt that? I don't think it was Jim Burt. Let's see. Let's put an end to this bullshit. It's Leonard Marshall.
Montana, we know. I finally hit them behind the Giant fence. Here's Montana the pocket.
Oh.
The ball's loose. Turnover maybe. I hear him say red ball. That's 49er ball.
Man, he got smoked. He got fucking smoked. Yeah, it's Leonard Marshall. All right, 85. All right, this hit is, this one's 1990. 1990. I'm talking about the one that fucking killed Joe Montana and basically ended his career in San Francisco. Yeah, Leonard Marshall. I remember I had Leonard Marshall on the show before. That's why I had to remember. Yeah, Leonard Marshall was a fucking badass, man. That guy fucking hit hard, man. All right, quick break. Get some water here. Bucks in the bonus with 8 minutes left. He'll be shooting free throws all the way through. It's a long time in the NBA.
Juicy fruit, and done with game. At Burger King, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $2.99. They're crispy and delicious and made with tender seasoned white meat. You're gonna flip over this deal. Get 10 nuggets for just $2.99 only at Burger King.
Which lets you easily block or unlock it from virtually anywhere. And Canada's most popular lineup of TVs come with innovation that makes life easier. Visit your local Ford store or findyourford.ca to see just how easy it is to get into a Ford.
Welcome to Home Canada. It's a nice, quiet.
Of course, there's the occasional bonfire.
For the most part, nothing ever happens around here. Far Cry 5, available now. Rated M for mature. PlayStation, the best place to play. What is this one?
called rapid release gels start to dissolve in seconds and effectively relieve pain at rapid speed. Tylenol, rapid release, rapid relief.
QuattroTires.com. Shop your tires online at the best price. All major brands available online. With fast shipping to your door anywhere in Canada. The only way to shop tires. QuattroTires.com.
The Nissan Titan Employee Pricing Event is on now. You pick what Nissan employees pay on all 2018 Titan models, including the all-new Midnight Edition. Get employee pricing with features that help you in tight spaces. The Tony Challenge is a thing of fast and adapt to whatever your haul. And get peace of mind Canada's best truck warranty provides. The Titan of trucks, now with Titan Employee Pricing.
The Bell Mobile Network is amazingly fast. In fact, it's faster than networks in New York, Tokyo, Tel Aviv, Helsinki, Moscow, Paris, Brussels, Shanghai, Los Angeles, Bangkok, Mexico City, Rio de Janeiro, Buenos Aires, and many more. So if you want to download, stream, and share with blazing fast speed, get on Bell, Canada's best national network.
'88-'83 Milwaukee Bucks. 7.5 minutes remaining in a basketball game. The total is deader than Michael Richards' career. In-game number now 208.5. We need overtime here. What's up, Johnny Cash? We're not home yet, Sandercock, with the Bucks. I thought I had a nice play on Western Kentucky tonight, too. You can get weed in Costa Rica. It's just not very good weed. You got to pay up the ass, and you got to know someone to get half-decent weed there. Yeah, you know, on Sunday night, they did the Stormy Daniels on 60 Minutes, but right after the Stormy Daniels stuff, there was a profile on the Greek Freak. And it's funny, I didn't plan on watching it. I didn't even plan on watching Stormy Daniels, but it came on immediately after the Kansas Duke game on the same network. So it went right into Stormy Daniels, and I was like, whatever, there's nothing else on. So let's see what she says. And she's got a nice rack, so I was like, oh, I'll watch the interview. And then the Greek Freak, there was a feature on Giannis. And I got to be honest with you. And I usually know a lot of stuff about, these things. Don't tell me my fucking charger. What the fuck's going on here? Yeah, so I usually know a lot of this stuff, about athletes and their backgrounds and stuff like that. But I really didn't know much about them. I can't lie. And it was very interesting story on the dude. He's a pretty deep fucking kid, man. Like, this kid's the real deal. Like, he's going to be a very rich man. Like, he's going to be a very rich man. Like, unlike a lot of other sports and stuff, like the NBA, like, part of the 60 Minutes piece they were talking about was like the NBA's popularity overseas and internationally. And they were saying about how Giannis like leads it and stuff. Like the Milwaukee Bucks, 50% of the Milwaukee Bucks hits on all their social media is from overseas. Like the jersey sales, the hits, the interest. The NBA is going to be in Europe like before anybody. Like that's the future of sport. We're pretty much out of cities in North America now. There's a few more you can get an NBA team into, but it's almost time. It's almost time. You put an NBA team in Spain, you put an NBA team in you could put NBA teams, in a lot of places in Europe. London obviously would get a team. But the popularity of Giannis is fucking insane, man. Like I didn't really realize that. Like he's the first international player ever. He's the first international player ever to have his own shoe. Like not, you know what I mean? Like a lot of guys have shoe deals, right? And you'll see them on billboards and shit like that or whatever. But sort of like Jordan. Like Nike, remember Lonzo Ball wanted Nike to make his own shoe for him and they fucking laughed at him and they said, dude, you're going to wear whatever fucking Nike you want to wear, but we're not making you a custom shoe. It doesn't work like that. You got to be somebody. Like they don't do this for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Giannis has his own fucking shoe and there's going to be a big push and shit, sort of like Jordan, like the Giannis, and it's going to fucking crush, man, in Europe and shit. So the thing with this kid, though, I didn't know much about him, but I'm wondering, like, how is he Greek and all that type stuff, right? But he grew up in Greece, but he's Nigerian. And it's pretty crazy, man. Like, I never knew this about the kid or anything, but, like, he fucking hustled shit on the streets and shit. Like, there was pictures of him and stuff, like, fucking selling shit on the street when he was a teenager. And they're like, what do you sell? He's like, watches, CDs, bootlegs, fucking. He's like, whatever I could to make $1, man. And he was like, I was an immigrant, black immigrant in Greece. It wasn't easy. Fuck my family, we had to do whatever we could to make money. It was funny. They're like, was everything legal you were selling? He's sort of like, wow. He sort of grinned like, yeah. But it's fucking crazy, man. Exactly. He shared shoes with his brother. He slept in a bed with his brothers and shit. And he was like, we were piss poor, but we were happy. Fuck. We're a close family. We're happy. And he lived in poverty, man. Like real fucking poverty, man. And fucking, like every day he'd wake up, he'd go to the fucking street and shit and he'd sell shit. And he had a little the family had a little fucking like stand where they'd sell fucking shit on the street there. It was pretty interesting story, man. Like the kid, he reminded me of Vladimir Guerrero. Like that, he really did. Like he doesn't party, he doesn't drink. It's very interesting. Like they ask him what he does after games and shit. He goes, I go to my room. Fuck, that's what I do. He goes, I go to my room and I play video games. And he works out all the time. And he's a good kid, though. He's definitely a good kid. And it was funny. They were talking about the NBA draft, and he said he knew he was rich suddenly. Like, he fucking realized when he got drafted, right? And he said it was fucking cool. Like, he didn't understand anything. So he's like, he goes, I kind of knew the NBA was cool and shit, but I really didn't know, like, what it was. So, like, they asked him, did you know what Milwaukee was? He's like, no. And they're like, have you ever heard of the Milwaukee Bucks? No. And he basically stated, I didn't know anything about the NBA. I don't know any players. I don't know anybody. I don't know any cities. I don't know anything. Like, he basically stated, like, I don't know. He didn't have a computer. He didn't have anything. Like, the kid didn't have shoes. Fuck, right? He was hustling fucking fake Rolexes on the streets of Athens. Like, he had nothing. It's basically when he was like 14, 15, they realized, like, holy fuck, this kid's a pretty good basketball player. And then, like, he wasn't on the street anymore and shit. But, like, so, they realized, but they showed the gym that he played in even before he got drafted. It was a hellhole. Like, what a find, man. What a find by the Milwaukee Bucks. Holy shit, fuck. Well, and as I say this now, the Clippers are going on a big run. Yeah, he's a cool kid, good kid. He's not fucked up by money at all. Like his family lives fucking, his family's in Milwaukee with him. He doesn't drink. He doesn't like, I'm not saying he's like, he's anti-alcohol. Like he didn't say that. He just basically, he doesn't party and shit, And he said something that all the great ones always say too. He goes, I have a big fear of losing all of this. He goes, I have a big fear of losing all of this. And that's why he pushes himself so much still. And, he's talking about how he's going to be the best player ever and shit like that. But I wouldn't bet against this kid. Yeah, they said in the 60 Minutes piece that NBA players in their vote, like they have a vote about the best player, like not the MVP, like it's an NBA players vote and shit. And yeah, he's been voted the best player in the NBA by his peers. Look, LeBron James is still the king of the NBA, but they're basically acknowledging that this kid is a fucking monster, basically. Like, it's not just like fake media hype or whatever. It's like, no. Like you said, like Kevin Durant said, that, yeah, this kid's going to be the best player ever to play in the NBA. Numerous players and coaches have said the same thing. They're like, that's the best player I've ever played against. Like, people are like freaked out and shit by him. He's the real deal. And he says he's not leaving Milwaukee. Because, they asked him, they said, what's your future? And he goes, I don't like big places. I don't like crowds. And he goes, I like my life in Milwaukee and I ain't going nowhere. Like he fucking said those exact words. He goes, I'm not going anywhere. Like they were showing him at the arena. They're building a new arena and shit. He had the construction. He's like, this is my house, fuck. And like, I don't think he's leaving Milwaukee. Milwaukee have a fucking solid roster too. It's just they're in tough. Like, it's going to be a real battle, man. These guys, Philadelphia, the Raptors' time is now, man, because our future, we're getting older. We got good young players, but we don't have like these phenoms like these other teams have. Yeah, it's a great piece. If you haven't seen it, Al, in action, he actually struggled at first. They were showing like his rookie season and highlights, and they were like, he was averaging 7 points a game as a rookie. He was having a hard time, just sort of, he didn't speak fucking English great, and just everything. He was having a hard time at first, and they showed a sequence. It was one game, and he was a kid. It was nuts. He turned the ball over, and then on defense, he ran back, and he swatted the ball from behind. And he fucking like fell into the crowd type shit, but he got back up and he swatted. He basically blocked 3 balls in one sequence. Bam, off the backboard. Bam, bam. He was like swatting shots like a volleyball player. And that's when like the Bucks even said, holy fuck, like this is real. This is real. And basically they just said when he showed up the next year, it was just, it's over, fuck. Like he's only in his 3rd year now, right? He likes it in Milwaukee. He's not a crowd seeker. He doesn't want to be with the Lakers or the Knicks and shit like that. As you stated, money changes things, but I don't know. It just seemed different. Like the Milwaukee Bucks even admitted that they said, we'll do whatever it takes. We can't lose him. He's our, he's the team and he's the franchise. He built this arena and like, he's all in on it. He's not leaving. I'm not saying he'll be a Buck for life, but the next contract, he'll sign like a monster deal with the Bucks. They're going to pay him. All right, so speaking of which, it's 102.94. Motherfucking Bucks. 102.96 right now. Yeah, all these people. Milwaukee's not a bad city. Upscale neighborhoods he can live in. Yeah, he doesn't get bothered. Holy shit. The Clippers are just raining threes now. There he is. He just scored it well. Fuck. 105.98. Watch, they're going to cover, but they're not going to win on the money line. No, listen, I'm not going to lie. Milwaukee's not the number one destination of NBA players. There's no disputing it. But Milwaukee's one of these cities that once you're there, you're beloved. It's like the Green Bay Packers, man. They love sports there and shit, you know? They love sports. It's not ultra racist or anything. Yeah, it's a little cold, Drew, but I don't think Giannis spends a lot of time outside. He's not outside on the street selling CDs anymore, right? So he lives with his mother. Fuck. Seriously, he lives with his mother. That's why it reminded me of Vladimir Guerrero. Like Vladimir Guerrero lived in an apartment building in Montreal, this nice building. Not even like Guerrero didn't live in the best building, to be honest. Fuck. Like Frank Robinson, the manager, lived. I was jealous of Frank's place. Fuck. I even told him that. I was like, man, I'd love to live where you live. He lived on like Peel and Sherbrooke. This fucking like nice fucking condo, the manager of the Expos. But I knew where they all lived, fuck, because I lived in the neighborhood too. Like, so Vladimir Guerrero lived in this high rise on Guy Street, right near Guy Metro. Guerrero lived. And it was one of those high rises, sort of standard ones, but it was a nicer one. And like Guerrero didn't rent out the whole hallway, but he had like he had his own place, and then right next door was his mother, and his mother used to cook all the time and shit, and just bring the food over into his apartment. But he had his own apartment and shit. But his mother lived next door, and then his like brother lived next door, and then his fucking cousin. Like there was like fucking 12 of them on that floor. And they showed Giannis, and it's not like 12 of them or anything. He bought a house and shit in Greece. Like his family, all his money, they live in Greece, and his mother lives with him in Milwaukee and with his girlfriend. And it's like a modest place too. Like they even stated, they're like, the guy's got money, but he's happy where he is. He's living in like a modest condo type shit. Like, it's funny though. We all think these athletes are living this like crazy glamorous life and shit, but our buddy fucking delivered pizza to fucking Trevor Siemian. He told me, he goes, your condo's nicer than Trevor Siemian's is. Like my buddy was in Trevor Siemian's place. I said, what was Trevor Siemian's condo like? He's like, man, it's pretty small, not that much. He goes, it's kind of a standard kind of whatever building. Like, he goes, nothing fancy. And a kid fucking, no, Wiggins is walking around in fucking sequin jackets and shit like that. Fucking, there's a kid on the Lakers too. It's not Kuzma. There's another kid. If I saw his fucking name, I think it is Kuzma, actually. It was Kuzma. Sorry, my bad. It was Kuzma. Yeah, I saw Kyle Kuzma's fucking apartment, man. Kyle Kuzma tweeted a few pictures and shit of his place. He was playing, like somebody sent him shoes and shit. So like he had a row of shoes out, like sort of in front of a couch on a table. And it was his place, you could tell. And I was like, holy fuck, man. This guy in the Lakers, he's living like a kid. Fuck. Like, Like he literally, like he was worse than me. Like he had just shoes all over the floor. He had like an Xbox with a big screen TV and like one chair and like a box. Like the kid, like he looked like he would have been broke, you know? But he's a good player. You know what I mean? You know, he's got simple needs. Like you said, a lot of these kids, they grew up broke and shit, right? So they're like, I don't know. What do you want me to get? Fuck. Like, I'm happy now. Like, that's what Giannis was talking about. He said he's happy with a smoothie. He said that he had his first ever smoothie in his life in Milwaukee. And his first ever tweet was, I just had my first smoothie. God bless America. You know, Giannis is happy with a smoothie. He doesn't need fucking hookers and blow and shit. He's got a girlfriend, you know, and whatever. He's got a happy life. 105.98. Come on, Milwaukee. Hit a 3 here. Fuck. Got to shoot it. Come on. Fuck. Doesn't go in. Fuck. Giannis for 3. No, passes it. We're running out of time, guys. Fuck. Oh, turnover. This is our last chance, and fucking Jason Terry throws it away. That's why I told you, Sandra Cock, this game wasn't done. Fuck me. We were cruising along, Blaker. I know. 7.5 minutes left, man. I know Otis Grant. What up, Didier? You're from Montreal, Didier? Fuck. We weren't going to win anyways, but they just threw it out of bounds. Fuck me, man. Like, I know we're in a bonus. Like, why weren't they taking it to the rack? Fucking stupid teams. Giannis is a nice kid and shit, but he can only do so much. You guys are right. Like, I mean, you might like Milwaukee, kid, but you're never going to fucking win there. Fuck. The coach of the Milwaukee Bucks was fucking pissed right now. Not that it gets our money back, but he just had a fucking frustrated look on his face, man. Like, fuck me, what just happened? Like, even Doc Rivers, like, you could see Doc Rivers said to him, hey, it's tough. Like Doc Rivers is trying to console the coach of the Bucks. I think Rivers can see that the coach on the Bucks is probably like, dude, like, these coaches care, man, right? Like, the coaches are intense more than the players are. So, well, you know, right now in the coach's office, the coaching staff are like, what the fuck, man? We had a fucking lead with 8 minutes left. We're in a fucking bonus. And these fucking guys, like, you know, like, it's just, they're thinking the same way we are. Like, what the fuck did they just do? And the thing is, it's the NBA. It's not college. If you can't, like, fucking yell at them and shit, you know, you can fucking ask them nicely. You can you can get mad in a practice a bit, but this isn't college. Like, the Milwaukee Bucks coaching staff isn't walking into the room right now and throwing chairs like Bobby Knight at them, you know? He'll go in, all right, guys, that was a tough one. That was, you know, that's frustrating. He'll drop a couple of, that fucking sucked, but all right, you know, okay, you got an hour and a half. Be ready. We're going to be chartering out of here. We haven't had a lot of special guest hosts of Sports Rage over the years, but Otis Grant actually was one of them. Ted Teven. I got Ted Teven. I know Otis Grant and Howard Grant and stuff too, did you? I got Ted Teven to fill in for me. I was on the road. like I couldn't do the show. I was going to call in, right? So I said, Ted, I'd be an honor if you could host Sports Rage for me. And it was 2 nights back to back. It was like Thursday and Friday night. So I call in on a Thursday night. Ted's there and shit. And the operator's like, fuck, Ted's fucking hanging up on people. He's only talking about horse racing and fucking. They're like, I'm like, whatever. He can do whatever he wants, fuck, right? So I get on with Ted. Then the Friday night, all right, I call and I'm on hold and Ted Teevan's not there. It's like fucking Otis Grant. And basically, Ted Teevan had Otis Grant on the phone as a guest. And I don't know, man, one of the operator kids fucking pissed Teevan off so much. Teevan like walked out. So Otis Grant and Howard Grant were hosting Sports Rage. So like I'm on the hold here and I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm like, why is Otis Grant on? I'm like, so Otis Grant's talking. Otis Grant's like, this is Sports Rage. And he goes, we think Ted Teevan will be back in a few minutes. So it's the fucking Grant brothers talking about boxing. I'm like, put me on this fucking train wreck. I'm like, yo, what's up, Otis? How you doing, man? Fucking, yeah, we're all fucked up down here at the Super Bowl in Detroit. Okay, and I'm like, what happened to Ted? And fucking Buddy's like, the operator's all scared of Ted. Otis like, wow, Gabe, Ted, you know. Fucking. Yeah, it was classic. I used to always have Otis and Howard on the show. And then I got in MMA, right, with the gym and shit like that. You know, I knew Otis, but obviously I knew Russ Amber, who was the trainer of Otis, right? So Otis and Howard, very nice guys, great guys. Ugh, fuck, that was frustrating to fucking lose, man. I hate losing, man. Walk of shame time. Fucking walk of shame.
Anyone else like to share? How about you in the back with the glasses, sir?
My name's Bobby, and I am an addict.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
You know, you folks aren't here because you're gamblers. You are here because you are terrible gamblers.
Okay, Bobby.
These folks don't
Bobby,
need to stop
okay.
doing what they're doing. They just need to get better at it. Who's dealing?
Please.
Who's that?
Hello?
You're right, Belly James. Bobby Riggs.
Hey, Bobby. And your point is, Bobby? My point is life is a gamble. Why should we give up doing the one thing that we really love? We don't need to stop gambling. We just need to get better at it. Truer words never been spoken. Fuck, that Milwaukee game pissed me off, though, man. For fuck's sakes, fuck.
My name's Bobby, and I am an addict. At least that's what Priscilla says. She's going to leave me unless I quit gambling. Puzzles me, though, that word, gambling. Whenever Priscilla gets a car out of the garage, she's gambling big time. Never checks the mirror. sits
Jeez
into the
Louise.
verse, puts her foot down right out on the highway. Jeez Louise, that's gambling. Here I am, Gamblers Anonymous.
And your point is what, Bobby?
Your
My
point is
this.
what?
Life's a gamble, right? That's the thrill of it. You know, you folks aren't here because you're gamblers. You are here because you are terrible gamblers.
Well, let's.
That's the problem. I mean, you lose, and that's why you're here.
Okay, Bobby.
I've been looking at you guys yammering on about all of your stuff, and oh, woe is me, and this is terrible. But you know what the problem is? The problem is you don't have a thing.
Can we just?
They don't have a thing.
Bobby.
They need an edge. You need an angle,
Let's-
an inside track,
let's-
something that's going to turn you from being a gambler to a hustler,
All right,
from
Bobby,
a
thank you
loser
very much.
to a winner. Why should we give up the one thing in life that we really love? These folks don't need to stop doing what they're doing. They just need to get better
Okay.
at it. Who's
All right,
dealing?
Bobby, please.
Who's in? Huh?
Well said, Bobby. Well said. From Battle of the Sexes. Who's dealing? Who's in? All right, we'll take one last quick break tonight. We'll come back with some closing thoughts. We'll run through some Major League Baseball numbers. Somebody asked, I believe it was Alan Action, if we talked baseball yet tonight. We talked baseball futures for the first hour of the show. I used to bet South Korean basketball. I'm off that shit. It's like a drug. I don't do that anymore. Fuck the Kazakhstani league. Fuck all those leagues, man. Like DRI said, fuck society. I don't need society and I don't need you. I got a six-pack and I got nothing to do. I got a six-pack and I don't need you. I like to play DRI right now, but ooh, copyright. All right. Give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. And give Mark Lathrop a thumbs up. Great stuff talking baseball with Mark. tonight. Fucking Milwaukee Bucks and go fuck themselves, man. Fuck, that pisses me off. Thanks to Mark Lathrop for joining us on the program tonight. I'm with you, Dylan. I'm pissed off too, man. What the fuck, man? Yeah, exactly. I'm with LV. LV Joe's a smart man. Fuck. These fucking regular season games, I'm done. Like, I'm going real small. I'm tired of this bullshit. Look, the Raptors won tonight. They're all happy. They won by 4. Fuck, you know? They're 8-point favorites. I'm getting sick of this bullshit. All right, so tomorrow night, on tomorrow's radio show, I'm going to go over some baseball futures, but I'll repeat them tomorrow night to you. If anyone missed them, we'll lock in 4 or 5, let's say 5 baseball futures, maybe 10 best bets for the year for those of you that are patient and want to wait it out. We're running a Major League Baseball survivor pool. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool concept. It's like football survivor, right? But instead of taking a game, you take a weekend series. So and you can take like a 4-game series, and if you go 2-2, you advance. But you can't take that team again. So pretty cool concept. Baseball survivor pool. If you want in, tweet me at SportsRage. At SportsRage. If you want a Major League Baseball survivor, you got to get in before Thursday morning when the games start. So by tomorrow night type of deal. So you can contact me on Twitter at SportsRage if you want in a Major League Baseball survivor pool. Bet Online's got a lot of great baseball props up, guys, so we'll be able to pull the trigger. I'll give you all my plays tomorrow night. Quick line check right now. We've got numbers posted right now, all right, for Thursday's opening day games. Chicago Cubs are -190 at the Marlins. Jose Urena is pitching. He's a damn good pitcher, so they'll probably trade him. I'm telling you right now, guys, coming into opening day, I'm looking to take an underdogs. Like, I'm looking at the St. Louis Cardinals right here. Fuck Noah Syndergaard. Give me Carlos Martinez at +128. But anyways, we'll get into baseball picks tomorrow night. Let me just give you the lines here before we get out of here. Chicago Cubs are -190 favorites at Miami. John Lester against Jose Urena. Marlins are +180. St. Louis Cardinals are +128. Carlos Martinez versus Noah Syndergaard. Mets -138. Washington Nationals and totals actually. Cubs Marlins total is 8. Cardinals Mets total is 7. Washington Nationals open up in Cincinnati. Max Scherzer versus Homer Dolt Bailey. Washington -175. Total 8.5. Philadelphia Phillies, a team that I'm high on coming into the season. But that's the thing. Opening day, every team's got a good pitcher on the hill. Julio Teheran is a good pitcher, but he did get lit up in his new ballpark last year. Philadelphia -120. Aaron Nola versus Teheran. Over under 8.5. Milwaukee at San Diego. Milwaukee are -110. Total 8.5. Chase Anderson versus Clayton Richard. San Francisco Giants are at the LA Dodgers. Ty Block versus Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw -280. Giants +255. Over under 7. Colorado and Arizona. Colorado at Arizona. Arizona -110. Patrick Corbin versus John Gray. Over under 9.5. Minnesota Twins +106 at Baltimore. Baltimore. Dylan Bundy -116. Jake Odorizzi goes for the Twins. Over under 9.5. Houston Astros -159. -159 favorites at Texas. Verlander versus Hamels. Totals 10. Yankees and Blue Jays. This game Thursday afternoon at the Rogers Center in Toronto. Severino versus J. Happ. Severino -140. Blue Jays +130. Over under 8.5. I'm leaning with the over in that game. Come on, in that ballpark with all that power and shit like that, 8.5 is a little low, I think. Boston and Tampa Bay. Boston Red Sox -160 on the road. Chris Sale versus Chris Archer. I think the Rays could be a live dog at +151. Angels at Oakland. I like the Angels. -122. Garrett Richards versus Kendall Graveman. White Sox. at the Royals. Royals minus 158. Danny Duffy versus James Shields. Fucking Shields is terrible. Shields is like a broken condom. No protection at all. Over under 9.5. Cleveland at Seattle. Cleveland minus 156 road favorites in their opener with Corey Kluber versus Felix Hernandez. I don't know. Smells like a live home dog to me. We're going to be on the air Thursday night sweating out baseball games. It's a new, it's going to be new. And in case if you're wondering if I sweat out baseball games like I do basketball, yes. There'll be a lot of fuck, man. That was a bad call. That was a fucking strike. Cleveland, minus 156 on the road in Seattle. Felix Hernandez, Corey Kluber, plus 146, 7.5. And finally, in closing, Pittsburgh and Detroit. Pittsburgh Pirates are minus 115 road favorites at Detroit. Ivan Nova versus Jordan Zimmerman. Total is 10. I'm not sure where these fucking two teams are going to combine to score 10 runs, to be honest with you. Right now, my initial leans, and these aren't plays yet, but my initial leans are, give me the St. Louis Cardinals plus 128. Toronto Blue Jays plus 130 and the over 8.5. Tampa Bay Rays plus 150. Seattle Mariners plus 145. You hit two of those dogs, going to be a nice day. I like the over more in the Jays game, but I'll stay away from betting on the Jays in this first game. Jay Happ's a gas can, but I'm telling you, man, bad teams win home openers often. I don't trust the Mets, though. Like, I'm going to be looking at underdogs. I want to take the fucking Marlins, to be honest with you. I might take the Marlins in the first 5 innings. They might hang around. Jose Urena is a good pitcher. Yeah, I'll take a shot with the Cardinals at plus money, plus 128. I'll take a shot with the fucking Seattle Mariners at plus 146. Fuck, the White Sox at plus 148. Like, I'm the Rays. That's the one, the Rays. Those are the three dogs that I like. Seattle Mariners plus 145. Tampa Bay Rays plus 150. Slight lean to the Jays at plus 130. And the St. Louis Cardinals plus 128. I'm telling you, when you bet on baseball, you're better off betting on underdogs. And the favorites, I like small favorites. I like Anaheim, or whatever the fuck they're called. The LA Angels. I refuse to call you the LA Angels. Fuck. You don't even play in LA. Fuck. All right. You're just trying to bastardize the LA Dodgers name. Fuck you. Your name is Anaheim or California. Go with California. Take over the state. Fuck. California Angels has a nice ring to it. That's what he used to be. It actually was the LA Angels in like the 60s and shit. So we'll give them that. For like 1 year or something like that in 1961 or something. Fuck. Yeah, but I like the Angels to beat the A's. I'll lay the minus 120. Look forward to some baseball capping and betting, though, boys, and we'll do it tomorrow night. Basically, tomorrow night on the show, we'll break down the day games, and then we'll be on Thursday night. What do we got? Cleveland, Seattle is at 10:10, so we'll be on during that game. We'll be on during the Colorado-Arizona game at 10:10. Those will be the 2 night games. So we'll be able to cap those games quickly out of the gate starting at 10 o'clock on Thursday night. But we'll see you tomorrow night with Bob Bano. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Support SBR. Check out all their social media accounts and everything else in between. Watch the videos tomorrow. And we'll see you tomorrow with Babano. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours. Later.